One. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Andycharger and CarChris live TT show. I am Andycharger.
And I'm CarChris.
And welcome to our show. Apologies for being a few minutes late. We had a slight technical hitch, but the good news is we are here now. We've got a great show lined up for you this evening. And as you can see, Chris and I are sunning ourselves on the beach right now. A bit like some other fellow YouTubers. So, so we are, what's the weather like down your end of the beach, Chris?
It's absolutely lovely, Andy, to be honest with you, mate. I mean, look at the sky. It's like basically a clear blue sky, nice white sandy beaches, lovely. Few little coconuts up in these trees and things. Perfect. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, you'll have to pop one of those sangrias down to me shortly. That'd be nice. So
What's happening on your beach?
Well, it's not too bad. I'm having a nice little relaxing Sunday, really. So I can't really argue too much. So guys, welcome to the show. If you've got any questions for us tonight, please do put them in the chat. And if you put them in the chat, then we will put them up live on screen. So let's have a look. Is anything going on in the chat so far? Yeah, Chris Johnson says, "Evening, chaps." Hello, Chris, and you're absolutely fantastic, TT Wills. Great to see you.
Hello, Chris.
Bernal, hi to you as well. And I can see Si's on. Great to see you on, Si. Thanks for your support as always. Yeah, you can see us that we're both live from Dorset. Oh, and Stephen Harper's also saying, "Well, lads, yeah." So that's a nice little segue actually into our first guest this evening, because our first ever guest on the live show is an international guest. And I would like to welcome fellow YouTuber and TT enthusiast, Mr. Stephen Harper. Welcome to the show, sir. There he is. There you go.
Stephen.
Are you on the same beach as me? Because, the weather's lovely here.
Yeah. Check you out.
This is what Ireland looks like all the time.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm coming to Ireland on my next holiday. Well, or you could come to Kent, because it's pretty much the same in Kent today. We've all got great weather.
We actually have the same palm trees. That's amazing.
I know. It's taken me ages to manicure. I've based my palm trees on CarChris's palm trees. That's why. So it's great. So, Stephen, welcome to the show this evening.
Thanks very much.
And, we would like to know about your background and why you chose the TT.
Well, lads, I decided to make a really bad financial decision and bought a TT. So, as you do, now I'm not as bad as Dom or anyone else that has loads of TTs, or yourself, Andy, that has was it 2, 3, 4, 5?
I think he's
TTs?
got 5, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got 5, yeah. He might have 6 by now, you never know.
Wow.
You have to do something now hitting 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Which one, me or Chris?
But so I decided to get a TT because originally I had a Passat. It was a very reliable car. I had it for 10 years. It sailed through every MOT, but it got a bit boring, to be honest. It was a TDI. It was as much fun as you're going to have in a TDI Passat. Very reliable car. Nothing wrong with it. Just got bored of it, to be honest. So decided to go out and buy something Quattro. That was my only thing I wanted.
Yeah.
I've never driven Quattro. Let's just go with a Quattro. Didn't know anything about Quattro either. Didn't realize it was a fake Quattro, whatever they call it.
A fake 4-wheel drive.
Yeah,
exactly. So thankfully there was one up for sale, less than 20 kilometers away from me. So when I bought it, and it was NCT ready, as in it doesn't have, or an MOT doesn't have an MOT, but it will pass. It will be okay. The parts are in the boot, kind of thing, but I haven't installed them yet. And that was a long winter fixing it up, but we couldn't go anywhere anyway, so it didn't really matter. But
it's on the road now, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a work in progress, as all TTs are, because
exactly. I think all TTs are work. There's never one that's done, is there?
No,
there's always something to do.
I see we've got a question in the chat, actually, guys, that's popped up saying, from Chris225, saying, if you get time to discuss it, I'd like to know what we use to protect the underside of our cars. And that's quite a good question that's come out, because I would imagine
dirt.
The roads of Ireland are probably the same as the roads of the UK in the winter, and splashing up and dissolving all the metal parts under the cars. So what do you guys use to protect the underside of your cars?
Well, in Ireland, we don't use salt. We use grit. So that does help.
Right.
So you do know like English cars, they well, that's what we were told in Ireland anyway, that they rust faster than Irish cars. But what do we? I don't know. Don't watch them.
I just throw a bit of hammerite under there.
Yeah, I was going to say. So the things that I've done is I've when I've done the back end of the 3.2, obviously I replaced the shocks on it, and the control arms and things, and all the different bits. They're starting to show a bit of rust and age. So I just did a bit of cure rust on them. First thing I did a bit of cure rust on it.
Yeah.
And I got some smooth black hammerite. Now, when I took that 3.2 to see a friend of mine who's got an MOT station, and I wanted to have a look under the car and see how rusty and rotten it was, because that was a concern I had. As I hadn't seen, when I went to look at the car, I couldn't see underneath it. And I was saying, oh, that's rusty and that's rusty. And he said to me, mate, a bit of hammerite, that'll go away. Don't worry about it. So I was like, oh, okay. So that's quite interesting. So if you've had any sort of negative feedback from the MOT station, you've got advisories on your MOT, and it's talking about corrosion, literally any bit of rust, they will flag as corrosion. So you could have corrosion that's bad, but you could also have corrosion that's not that bad. A little bit of hammerite.
Yeah.
And the reason
it's usually surface rust, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
So the Kia, we had a Kia Sportage, and it sat in the garden for about 6-8 months. It just wasn't being used, and even though it was high, all the grass grew underneath it, just brushing against the bottom, started to make a lot of rust appear. And I took it in for its MOT, and they said the same, like corrosion. And really, it just needed a bit of hammerite. And when I put it back in for a retest, it didn't get flagged. So obviously that's what it was. So there you go. As long as it's not rusted away and it's snapping off. So there you go, guys. I would say cure rust for the rusty bit, seal it off, and then a bit of hammerite over the top. That's my thoughts. But what do you guys say to that?
Well, we have a Kia Sorento as well. And I don't know, the Kias just love rusting.
Yeah.
But I end up having to take an angle grinder and cut out all the rust and weld in new metal.
Wow.
I have a video, so
you've got a video on that, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, while we're talking about that, I'm sure most of you guys are subscribed to Stephen, but what I'll do is I'll put a link in this live video to Stephen. In fact, Stephen, do you want to put a link to your video in the chat, and then we can put it on screen?
Yeah, no problem.
There you go. Do that, and then we'll add you. I'm sure you're all following Stephen anyway. So, but we talked briefly last week, didn't we, about the price of Evening Howard of the road tax in Ireland. So the road tax for the 225 we were talking about to start with. And
Evening, Howard.
You started talking about my 3.2, and then you frightened the life out of me when you told me how much the tax was in Ireland. Do you want to tell us that about the price of tax in Ireland on the 3.2?
Yeah, so if you look at any TTs in Ireland with an Irish number plate, they're all going to be 1.8s. And I got offered, so when I got my car finished roadworthy, just by chance, one of the contractors was driving past. I actually know where there's another silver TT. And they gave me the address, and I went over and I met the guy, and he was a very friendly guy. And he was like, "Do you want to buy it?" I was like, "No, I've literally just NCT this and got it roadworthy. I don't want to buy a second one." And just by chance, it turned out to be a 3.2. I was like, "How much are you looking for it? Like, just to buy?" And he said, "I will sell it to you for the same price. I have to road tax this thing." I was like, "How much?" So the 1.8 is 636 euros to tax for the year. The 3.2 is 1,800.
What?
So it's like buying a TT every year.
Yeah. So we don't ever want to moan about if we own a 3.2 and we're paying 370 a year for our road tax. I'm never moaning again, and I'm definitely not coming to Ireland because that is. Well, I'm coming to Ireland, but not to insure or tax my vehicles because that was just. When you told me that on Thursday, I literally nearly fell off my chair.
Yeah, that's crazy. The prices are absolutely crazy, like.
Yeah,
and that's why a lot of them are just disappearing off the roads as well. So, like, if you see any TT drivers in Ireland, they are going to be enthusiasts, and they do want to drive the cars. Yeah. Because you're not going to see us like, oh, I just have this whole thing and I just drive it. Like, the TT is like braking, and the tax is so expensive. They're not going to be driving unless they actually are enthusiasts.
Right. Do you know what, guys?
Absolutely mental. Yeah,
I was just going to say, I'm going to have to go and get a drink because this weather's just getting to me, right? So, but I've just noticed there's I'd also like to welcome a fourth guest to this, or a second guest, but a fourth member to this chat. And this guy needs no introduction because if you follow anything to do with TTs and you are on YouTube, you know this guy, and he's on the other end of the beach to us right now. But I would like to welcome to the chat Mr. Dom Parrott from the Parrott Bros. Welcome, Dom.
Hi lads, thanks for having me.
Hello, Dom.
How you doing,
mate?
Dom.
I'm loving the backdrops.
Yeah, we thought we'd join you.
Yeah, we're on the same beach. You should come down. We've got some drinks. Come on, see us. We're all fine. Yeah. How's your evening, Dom?
Yeah, nice, mate. Yeah, had a bit of dinner. Yeah. Just suffering now.
Nice. So, 5 TTs right now.
Sorry, I was listening to his story about the tax on the Irish cars. Mental.
It's mad, isn't it?
When
crazy. We went to Dublin, there was a taxi driver, and we shook his hand, we like cars, and he's like, "Oh, I've got I think it's like a 523 E39, like £1,000 car." And I said, "Oh, what's the tax?" He's like, £2,000. I was like,
"Yeah,
what's the point? What is the point?"
I think, Stephen, you said that, didn't you? One guy offered you the price. He offered you the car,
for
the price of the tax, essentially.
Yeah, that's what he said. It's like,
and
I met other guys, and they had like Storm Corrados and stuff, and I was like, and they were like VR6s, so they're about €1,400 to tax for a 2.9.
How much would that cost all of ours, based on how many cars each of us own?
Like,
well, you wouldn't be going any more foreign holidays, Dom. I know that.
That's why here in Ireland we have these type of holidays. You're like, that's all we can afford. Like,
yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
But the guy I met anyway, he said, "I don't tax the car." I was like, "But what if you get stopped and like by the guards and like you get fined?" He's like, "Oh, the fine is cheaper than the road tax." So that's what he does.
Fair play.
Now a dangerous game, but
yeah. Especially because they want it in cash, didn't they? There and then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Dom, I don't know how much you can see of the chat that's coming in, but there's obviously
I can't see anything.
No, I was going to say I'll have to read stuff out. So obviously, there's a few people that are saying hello to you this evening. So Jules is saying hi, and we've also had Chris Johnson's put a message out. Chris with those lovely wheels from Kent.
Yeah.
He's put out cheers for putting him in touch with the fella yesterday we got on the tarmac. So there you go. So a bit of feedback coming back from that. Yeah. We've also got a question that's come in, and while we've got the experts on, we should really fire that over. Bernal Neary's got a question. I have a question with faulty airbag module. Is it true that you have to replace it, or if you have to program it? I've been able to remove the airbag warning using the $30 airbag reset for now. So he's saying, is it true that you have to replace it or you have to program it? Any ideas on that?
Wasn't there a recall on the airbags years and years ago?
There was. I'm pretty sure they're plug and play, but I would definitely seek some advice from someone who knows a bit more. They definitely saying on the TT forum on there.
Yeah, okay. That's some good advice. So Bernal, if you have a look on the TT forum, and the TT forum is very, very good for any sort of.
I mean, if you search Google, it'll give you the TT forum link because it's not
Google is your friend.
On board.
I'm
if
sure
you had something like BCDS and actually can wipe the code, but also probably underneath the seats, that's where they all plug in. So maybe it's something to do with your seats, or else the steering wheel, or one of the other airbags. But
the other issue is obviously airbags only have a certain shelf life, and I mean relying on the fact that 20-year-old airbag's actually going to work is like it's like
second-hand airbags
anyway. Yeah.
So, second-hand parachutes. Never buy.
Sometimes you could just resistor it off depending on where it is.
Yeah, that's just mad. So Jules has passed some comments on actually in the feed, telling you to buy the same module, make sure it's the exact same part numbered, and then use BCDS to clear the code. So that's all good. So
that's right.
Yeah. So Dom, how are you enjoying that Roadster?
Yeah, it's good, mate. Yeah. Still working through a few issues, but it's good for the most part. I got my brakes back now. Now I've been to Brins.
Yeah.
Right.
Who did the work on that? Who really did the work on that, eh?
It was a combination of me making it harder for him.
So. Excellent.
Took a 2-hour job and made it 5.
Well, that's all part of it. I think it's you're earning the money, make him earn that money. So I think Bryn is. I think Bryn's going to be on actually in a couple of weeks' time. So when we do this again, hopefully we'll have Bryn on and a few other people as well. So we're trying to get everyone back on. Maybe we can make it like the Brady Bunch, and we can have loads of us all talking at once. That might be quite interesting. Can you imagine all the TT problems that would come up with that many people online?
You just have a workship, innit? We'll fix your car online now.
If we had all the TTs together that we own at that point, there would probably be hundreds. That's the thing with your 5. So you've still got all 5, Dom, at the moment? Still at 5.
Or have you got 6 now?
Yeah, we're about to say.
Here we go.
Has the number gone up or down?
It's always up. It goes down 1 and up 2 usually.
Yeah.
I've got 2 to pick up when I get back.
Wow, blimey.
The showroom's going to be opening soon then, yeah?
Yeah. So it'll just be Dom's personal collection.
Exactly.
Like a welcome to my crib, it'd be welcome to the field I live in. Yeah.
The correct mathematical formula for the number of TTs you own is actually n+1, where n is the number of TTs you actually own at any one time. So n+1 is the right number. Everyone's always looking for one more. So, Chris, are you actually looking for something to add to your stable of TTs? Because I think you were looking at 3.2s, I think.
Yeah, I'm browsing at the moment.
Very nice too.
Still want a V6 Roadster.
Manual or auto?
Well, do you know, sir, I probably will go auto because I'm lazy. So to be fair, and I've got the manual. I've got the manual 225. So might as well try a DSG. And I went out in my mate's one yesterday. He's just picked up a 3.2. Got it for a bit of a bargain. So I have a video coming on that to see whether you still can get a 3.2 at a bargain price. And I actually quite enjoyed it. It was very loud. You probably know why, because it's got no back box for the back box delete.
Yeah.
But yeah, there'll be a video coming this week on that. And I think he got a good deal in it, but obviously you can comment on the video when it comes out and see if you think it's a good deal.
Yeah. I did do a little comparison video of a little short of the sound of the 225 compared to its poor old 225. It's a bit like a and then there's a so
the V6 stock definitely had a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. Oh, Jules has just mentioned that there's a TT meet on the 19th of June. Where's that?
You're joking?
Jules?
Where's that?
No, I don't know. Why has he not told anybody?
New to me.
He's kept that to himself, hasn't he?
Yeah, come on, Jules. Where's it at? We need to know. He's also said that Dom's beard's a different colour. So I don't know what you've done to you. Have you been bleaching your beard or you've been away, maybe? I don't know where he's come up with that.
It's just so hot. all the guys coming out of the graze are coming back.
we've all. That's why I shaved mine off a bit tonight. It was getting a bit like that. Sides actually puts a Pigeon Guard Games has put. He thought that Chris already had bought a.
I know.
What have you been doing, Chris?
Okay, so basically, I've done a quick short of my mate's exhaust because I thought it was really loud, and I put it up obviously on YouTube as a short, and so I commented straight away basically thought I bought myself a V6, isn't it?
Right.
So I said, no, I haven't bought one yet, but so no, not yet. Bit soon. I have got my eye on a couple at the moment.
It is coming, yeah.
It is coming.
Right. Okay. You need to get a bigger garage. You need to get the workshop
that
next door.
also might be coming as well.
Yeah. Oh, Jules has he's forgot where it's been arranged, that meet. So if you can remember, Jules, let us know where it is, and then we will.
Maybe he's getting confused with SpringFest.
He might be. He might be getting confused with SpringFest actually, because that's obviously happening on the 24th of July, and but there is also another meet that I'm trying to put together on the 11th of June. Dom, I need to add it to your page actually, where there's a place just on the A21 towards Hastings on the coast. So people in the south, the southeast, if you want to come along, we're going to try and do a Saturday morning meetup. A place called Route 1066. Very apt being near Hastings, I guess, at a place called Robertsbridge. So I will put the details together and I'll get it up to Tom so he can put it out. So I have emailed the people and asked if we can meet up. They tend to have a lot of motorbikes and things that show up there on a Saturday and a Sunday. Nice. So I think it'd be quite good. They've got a nice big forecourt and we get a few TTs together. It'd be and then if we want, we can drive the last 10 miles to the coast and have an ice cream and go on the Ferris wheel and then go home, I guess. So that
sounds good.
Yeah, a nice little June warm-up, because obviously that'll be a warm-up for the main meet on the 19th of June that we're talking about when we find. I think it's.
We're going to get the details nailed down.
Oh, I think Chris has said it's at the Motorist. So Chris,
what's at the Motorist?
Apparently that meet on the 19th of June. There's a meet on the. We not mentioned it. There's a meet on the 19th of June.
Some northern.
Yeah. So I can confirm though, as messing around aside, that on the 19th, all three of myself, Chris, and Dom will be there on the 19th. So we'll come and say hi. Yeah,
should be quite a few TTs going as well.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I don't think I'll make it.
No, you'll probably be cutting crops that weekend.
I think so. Yeah.
So we need to sort of tailor our sort of visits to come and see you, and you to come and see us around harvest season. I think so.
Yeah, like I was about to ask, what's the TT car scene like in England? Like, is there many like
active,
say for the Mark 1s?
Very active.
Yeah. But is there many like on the road or?
When you drive around, you tend not to see any. Usually, they're definitely a weekend car. 40 or 50, yeah. I mean, I think
there was a few of the was it last weekend, Dom, when you organised that meet? There was a few there, weren't there?
Yeah, some nice ones and all.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But do people daily them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
not as much some more now, but 20-year-old car in it, so is what it is.
Yeah. I bumped into a guy at the garage on Thursday. I was at work on Thursday, and there was a guy pulled into the garage in this TT. So I went running down the road. I thought, it's a guy. I'm going to give him a card. And went up.
He's running
tapped on his window. I said, "Are you driving this because you're a TT fan, or are you driving this because you are, it's your daily driver? It's just a car to you?" And he said, "Oh no, I like the Audi TT." I said, "Oh, okay." So I said, "Here's my card. I've got a YouTube channel. I can't miss an opportunity." And the guy's sort of thinking, "I've got some crazy weirdo at my window trying to sort of give me stuff in the window." And he got in touch with me. So he has obviously. It's
Is that how you got to 2,000 views or 2,000 subscribers?
Yeah.
Just handed out 2,000 cards.
Yeah. They've got a £5 gift voucher on the back of them.
Chasing people down the road.
Yeah. Come on, you're not allowed past unless you join this site. No, it's but it's great because there are people. There's some people in my village that there's about 3 or 4 Mark 1s in the village, and I've sort of worked out who they all are. And
haven't you chased them down the road?
I have done. I stopped. I was out cycling my bike one day, and I actually went up to someone's front door and knocked on the door, and I said, "Oh, I know you've got a TT on the drive." And she's like, "Yes." And I'm standing there in my Lycra, so it's obviously not the greatest. And I said, "Oh, because I've got a YouTube channel. Here's my card, and then maybe we can. I'm having a little meet in July, so maybe you'd like to bring the car along because we're only down the road, literally a mile away. It'd be nice to see local people as well." And she said, "Oh yeah, I'll think about it." I've not heard a word from her, so unless she's
might pitch up, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. She might be.
You better not say anything negative. She could be watching this.
Well, no, I'm definitely not saying anything negative. I want to apologise to her for showing up at her house in my Lycra. But I do hope she would like to attend on in June. But yeah, in July rather.
So what's it like in Ireland then for TTs?
Rather thin on the ground. But
have you got the only one?
Well, like I thought I was the only one, and then I went to there's a Volkswagen meetup, and one of my friends sat into the car. And I was, not bad. I like this thing, And within 2 weeks, he went off and bought his own. And so he bought one with a blown engine and then just replaced the engine. He put another 2.2 or a BAM engine into it. And he's driving that for a year. And then I think the anniversary was coming up and the wife's birthday and everything. So he gave it to the wife as the birthday present with the intention of, you can drive it, and then when there's a car meets on, I'll just rob your car and drive it. So that's how he justified it. But yeah, we have a meetup called Autostad, which is I suppose German word, and yeah, I don't know, there's probably about 2 or 3 TTs that get to it, and sometimes it's different TTs, but there's never 20 TTs. But it's kind of it's been my TT and then 2 other TTs each time, and then the next time it's 2 different TTs, but very rare on the ground. There's probably more Mark 2s and Mark 3s coming around, but if you see a Mark 1 TT...
Given the tax price, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
No, exactly. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Do you want to tax them through my address for 1,500 quid a year?
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, so we've got a few questions in the chat, actually, so... obviously, Jules is still mentioning his meat, but we've also got that Simon said that he's paid $4,500 for his TT plus 10 grand to sort, so his TT's cost him 15 grand.
Sounds good.
And he's also asked there, Stephen, if you bought the V6 for the price of the tax.
No. But no, I really did consider it. So for less than 2 grand, I have an amazing car, and in Ireland, once cars hit 30 years of age, the price goes from whatever you pay to €56, regardless of engine. So I was like,
so buy a mothball then, yeah.
I could just stick it in, but like, that's okay for vintage cars, like maybe like the Mark 1 Golf or Mark 2s. When things have a lot of electronics in it and they're going to sit up for a long time, I'm kind of like on the fence. Like, these cars want to be driven, and that's how you keep everything going, and keep the seals and everything fresh in them. But if they sit too long, I don't know. And it had a DSG gearbox, and that was kind of put me off. But also, I've been driving tractors for the last like 3 days non-stop with automatic gearboxes. I absolutely love it. Like, I sit in the car, like, unfortunately I have to change gears. Like, damn.
Yeah. So what you need to do is I said it last week, you need to build a track right around the field.
Yeah.
Mothball that car and then just take it out once a week and do a few laps. Keep all the pipe work going.
Yeah,
put it back in the garage.
Annoy the neighbours, like straight pipe it and let them hear the V6.
Yeah. In fact, if you could do that, you could go around Ireland and find all the 3.2s that are like that, put them in the garage, look after them all, and then put them away till they're worth €56 for tax.
Yeah.
And then sell them all. Make a fortune.
Yeah.
Sell the farm.
Yeah,
you could make enough money. Keep the farm.
You must have a barn somewhere, right?
Yeah. Barn. Yeah, there'd be true barn finds. There you go.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
Yeah. Forgot you've got them and then done.
Yeah.
yeah.
That will send them over here.
Yeah.
Exactly. We'll take them all. We'll take them all.
Yeah. Absolutely right. I mean, that's the thing with cars, isn't it? With those 3.2s. So I had a couple of cars in the garage in the garden on Saturday, and they were both 225s, and we were sort of talking about that, about, you know, what's going to be the ideal car in the future out of all the different engine sizes. And we see, those 3.2s now, as we looked of whatever the website's called, is it called how many are left or whatever it's called? I think there's about 1,300 on the road of the 3.2. So it's getting down to that level of the Quattro Sport, isn't it? Near enough, not quite down that low, but they will eventually get to the stage where they're about the same sort of level. And then what will be worth more money?
Quattro Sport.
They run out of petrol and like.
So, yeah. I mean, the car prices have definitely changed, haven't they? I mean, over the last 6 months. 6 months ago, you could pick up cars fairly cheaply. And
how much are they worth in the UK? Like, say, like the 225, bam.
If you categorize it as like 75 to 100,000 miles on both, a nice condition with a good maintained history, the 225s are probably 2.5 to 3.5, and the V6 is probably 5 to 6.5. They're similar.
Yeah. I'd say the prices are the exact same in Euro here as well. Like, I bought mine at the near enough to the bottom of the market. And since buying it, they've literally just gone up. So it's the first time ever I've had a car that's appreciating in value rather than depreciating.
It's nice, isn't it? Nice feeling.
Yeah, definitely. Then you're nearly worried driving it, going, it's worth so much, like.
Yeah, it's definitely it's the price of cars. I think now, I'd like to think that we're riding the back end of that roller coaster now, and we're on our way to success.
Yeah, they should only be going up though, wouldn't they?
I mean, if you go back to, you remember the scrappage scheme when that first came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
old cars where things like Uno Turbos, TTs, Renault 5s, all that kind of stuff, where they were worth like £1,000, 1,500 quid. They got scrapped off, and then suddenly you stuck a zero on whatever they were worth 3 years prior because it just wiped out whatever was there, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a massive thing. So what have you got planned, guys, for your cars then coming up? So, Dom, I imagine you've got a whole host of things if you've got 5 of them. What have you got planned?
Just trying to keep them going. I'm going to try and do this summer. I'm going to try and do more using them.
Yeah.
There is obviously some rolling repairs, of course, because
things will break.
But yeah, I got a couple of trips planned. I'm going to go to the Ringing one, and then I got North Coast 500 trip as well.
Right, that'll be nice. That'll be good.
Nice. Stephen, what have you got planned of yours? Because you've also got a Corrado we need to talk about.
Yeah. Well, the two big things on the TT, aircon, it doesn't work, and I have to get it working. I was driving it today and I was absolutely roasted. Is it a big job to fix?
Depends what's wrong.
Probably just needs to be recarred.
To get it pressure tested. If you get it pressure, take it to a garage. They'll put some nitrogen in and get it pressure tested. You've probably got either a leaking rad, a dodgy seal, or it could just need repressurizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to do the AC and then the TT. You know, the little screen in the dash.
Yeah.
So I bought all the parts, so like I'm just going to do it myself and chance it, because the problem is I know there's places in Scotland that you did a video of, and you can send it anywhere in England and they'll replace it. But with the Brexit and the tax and getting caught, and because the immobilizer is built into the dash, I can't send it off and then wait 3 or 4 weeks because of customs or whatever, because my car won't be able to be driven. So I'm going to chance doing it myself.
Yeah, no, fair play. Needs to get it sorted out, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Well, the way I figured it was, if I somehow break it and it doesn't work, like actually the little screen, the car will still drive once you obviously plug the dash back in, even if the dash isn't actually working, or the little screen isn't working. So I'm going to do it anyway and drive it on. At the moment, it doesn't work anyway. It's all pixelated. So
it is what it is, isn't it? You can still drive it. So
yeah, they're the 2 biggest jobs, and after that, just go and enjoy it. And
no, is that? But you've got a few Corrados, haven't you, Stephen? You've got more than one, haven't you?
Yeah. So you start off with, it's like, I don't know, it's like having cats or something. You start off, or ducks, geese. You start off with 1, and then you end up with 2, and then before you know it, you have 5.
Got 5 Corrados. Are they all the Corrados in Ireland? Do you own all of them?
No, the one did get away from me.
Well, you've got to find it and get that one as well.
Yeah, well, like the same thing, just like the TTs, like they were cheap for a long time because they were literally unwanted. When they were 25 years of age, the tax was so expensive. They were just cheap to buy because no one wanted to be seen in a 25-year-old car. I bought them, waited till they're all hitting 30, and now going to enjoy them and drive them on my cheap tax. So yeah, like I have so like when I saw the TT originally, it was just like, so you have like the Scirocco was the first one, then you had the Corrado. I always said the next one after the Corrado was the TT, because they literally everything that the TT was or the Corrado was missing, the TT got, like 4-wheel drive, really big engines or big horsepowers. But like they all came with the same stuff, like the two-door coupes. They're fun to drive and they're just brilliant cars.
I do like a Corrado. I do like a Corrado.
Yeah, it's the age we're at, Chris. That's what it is. It's we're
remember when
our
people
youth.
used to drive them normally, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. And it was like a wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that flash modern car that's just gone past.
It seems like old golf rallies and stuff like that. You just don't see them with like the boxy sort of arches and square lights on it. But they all left-hand drive?
I haven't a clue.
I can't remember if they were all left-hand drive.
I think rallies were.
They were, weren't they?
They are actually, yeah. Well, the one I've seen, they're all left and right, yeah.
I remember that Corrado because it was the first car, other than the Porsche, obviously, that had the little lift-up spoiler at the back, and everyone remembered. That's what you remember about the Corrado. Is it? Was it
the active
50? Is it? And it comes up.
Yeah. Once you go 50 miles an hour, it comes up, and I think when you slow down beyond 30 or something, it retracts in. Yeah. Is that the same with the Mark II TT, or what's the speeds that it goes up and down at?
80.
78. It's a weird little speed. It's not quite 80. It's sort of like, it's like 77, 78 mile an hour goes up. But you just
obviously
rip that thing off and throw a whip swing on the back, didn't you?
Yeah. Also, you've only seen it when you've been on the Autobahn. You haven't seen it in the UK because it doesn't go
up. Yeah, copper sees it pop up and they're like...
Yeah.
Exactly. That was the reason why I took mine off and put the fixed wing on.
Yeah. We got a question in the chat, actually, guys, about... Chris 225 is hoping to do some of the NC 500 in the next couple of weeks. Should be fantastic. And Chris Peter Lone said when he got his TT, it had a sticker of the NC 500. It had a sticker on the bumper. The person I got my TT from NC 500. What's that, guys? Is that like a race or is that a part of the car?
No, North Coast 500. It's like
that's what you're doing, Dom. Sorry, Dom. That's what you're doing. Yeah. Oh, so there you go. So that was going back to the previous statement. So you've got a couple of guys that's hoping to do some of it in the next couple of weeks.
If anyone wants any route information or places to stop for fuel or any advice, just drop me a message.
Yeah, speak to that guy. Yeah. And Mark Nicholas has put that he's had the terrible engine check light on. And he added some Lucas petrol additives, and now the car's driving perfect and no engine check light. So is that because it's cleared something out on
I
the
would
map?
plug it in and see if you've got any codes.
Yeah.
It should be something. It's probably in block injector or.
It's going to be stored something.
Yeah. So Dom, you've recently reviewed a code reader, haven't you? On that was a Bluetooth one, wasn't it? So there's a video on Dom's channel.
It was still plug-in, but it had Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So you can update it and stuff. I mean, it's good for going in a bit more depth. You know, like if you want to read actual values, what the sensors are seeing and what they're giving, because then you can also check online as what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like you can check you're getting 200, 300, 400 good degrees exhaustion.
Can you remember what one it was? Was it a top Dom one?
Top Dom RT Diag 600S.
Yeah. Okay. Which I think is a little bit more complex than the one I've got. So they obviously look at our subscriber count, I reckon. So they've sent me this one. They've sent me this one, which is
right.
Yeah, it's the RT Link 400. It's still in its box, but obviously it's got the little screen and it's got the plug-in for the OBD. And I think it's obviously good for people that haven't got a smartphone, isn't it? You've got
we're one of these ones. This is
Chris has got one as well. Stephen, where's yours?
They didn't send me one
as well.
It's lost in the post.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's an RT Link 400. I've not tried it. I'm going to review it. I'm going to do it. Yeah. But I've said to the people that sent it to me, I said I will be perfectly honest. So if it's great, I would say it's great, and if it's not great, I will be honest. So there you go.
They seem pretty on a level about it. To be
exactly right. And the thing is, if they're going to send it out, they know that we're going to review them, and we're going to be honest. So guys, keep your eyes open for that and see what I think of it, because I think Chris, when we did my Roadster, you found a load of codes with your OBD reader that I didn't flag up with mine, didn't we? We found a lot.
Yeah, it's the OBD 11. Yeah.
So I think we'll maybe give that a go. Give my one a go, maybe give yours a go, and see if we get. Hopefully, you'd hope for some commonality, because you'd hope they're not finding 3 different sets of things. But we'll
exactly.
Let's see. Yeah. So,
I love getting free stuff, but like if they sent me out one as well, we could all do a video and then post the video at the same time, and then people could see do we all give the same reaction or not?
Yeah. Peter Loden's just said, check you lot out selling your souls for Trust me, there's been no soul selling yet, so it's interesting.
Not enough.
No, exactly, absolutely not. Yeah. I'd say, Peter, I will be perfectly honest as well. I'll try it and I'll let you guys know, because it's the last thing we want to do is get you guys, find something if it's no good, tell you it's any good, because that don't help anybody out.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I've had a look at the jumper pack that I got. I'd actually quite like that.
Check you out with your extra
I got none.
Did I mention I had a jumper pack? Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, where's my jumper pack? I'm with Stephen.
Well, I asked them for it. When they sent me the other one, I basically said to them, I use OBD 11, but I really do need a jumper pack. So then 2 days later on, one of them came through the post.
Right, so let it be known, CarChris is selling his soul for Bliss. So there you go.
Any free stuff he will.
You can believe me, because I got nothing.
Check out the OnlyFans page.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to put some little stickers down my shoulder. So if you want to advertise anything, please feel free. It's going to be like a race suit. Yeah, exactly right. Oh, I must nip outside and give my car a rub down with this touch up paint factory that I've just found.
What's that?
Why not mention? No, that's something. When I did the Kia months ago, I got some. It's an.
Did you get one of these as well?
I don't know what's that.
Chris, though.
Oh, he's got all of you, isn't he?
No.
That's what I bought that one. I'm only playing.
But I have got an Andycharger card if you want one. It's got my website on it, and
we'll chase you down the road for it.
Yeah. In his lycra.
If you're from Hemel Hempstead, mate, all of them seem to be like middle-aged women. So if you're driving on and you're like, and they're like.
They're doing the.
Oi, Andy! I've got an idea.
What's that?
Well, why Dom's away? Why did you drive up to Hemel Hempstead and start putting a load of charger cars underneath?
Yeah. I haven't got enough cards left for all these cars. Come back as below. Well, I do need a bumper. I do need a light silver metallic bumper. So.
You do, don't you? Have you got any paint for that yet?
No, it's coming tomorrow. I've ordered the paint. Right. So that's coming tomorrow. So that's going to be my next challenge. And back in the day, the early 90s, let's say, when I first learned to drive and passed my test, that was something that I could do myself mechanically with the car. So I had an old Mark III Escort, so I'd always be rubbing down bits and spraying it. So I got quite good with a rattle can, as good as you can get with a rattle can.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I haven't lost my touch, and I'll better fix the back bumper. But we'll see. I'm interested to see, because that bumper, the paint's definitely cracked, but I don't know if it's the actual bumper itself. So I might take the bumper off. I might do a video on that and see if the actual plastic's cracked, and if it is, I'll obviously fill it and fix it. But so yeah, Dom's out and about. Is he?
Yeah, I just
think Dom's going into the club, isn't he?
I'm in
I
the
thought
bar.
Dom's going clubbing now, isn't he?
I'll get the sangria. We'll have
I think he's looking for you on the beach somewhere.
Yeah. In fact,
Tom, how many TTs have you seen?
Yeah.
None. I've been
what?
I've been hunting for them for that exact reason. Be like,
that's what I did when I went to France on that hockey trip back in April. I walked to the rink. The rink was about a 15-minute walk away. So I literally walked through like a housing estate, and I was walking around all these like blocks of flats through their car parks, and they must have thought, what's that strange guy doing? Desperately trying to find a TT, and obviously I found one at the end. I gave it a little card and set off. And I also saw that little funny
were you there in the
Citroen the little Citroen Ami, where you can lift the body off, spin it round 180 and put it on, bolt it on, carry on driving.
That was a weird
crazy
thing,
yeah. Although it's classed as a quadricycle rather than a car. So but
would you not need a license?
I don't know, because the guy that was driving it was I think he was 17, and I might be wrong, but I think you have to be 18 to drive in France. But I think you can drive the quadricycles at that age. So,
right.
Oh, Size told me I can't get good with a rattle can. I beg to differ. I will show you the evidence when you come to SpringfesTT.
I'm looking forward to this.
I'm terrible.
Yeah.
I've done my wing mirror.
Not trusted.
Yeah, you did do your wing mirror, and that came out all right, didn't it?
Yeah, it didn't too bad for 10 metres away.
No. That's the thing. It's one of those things that you can't. You have to know when to let go.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can get. I'll just do another cut. Oh no, I've got a drip.
Or you touch it and you're like, is it? Oh.
Yeah. Was it dry yet? Oh, I'll take it. Oh. Yeah.
That's the thing. Once I got the red paint on mine, I literally was like, I had to go home, otherwise I would have stayed there and started touching it and stuff. I just get out of there quick, leave it 24 hours and come back and then start, sanding it back and getting the lacquer on. Yeah. And I think it looks all right. It's not perfect. It's not like a proper job. I think for a rattle can, it looks better than having all that lacquer peel.
Yeah, absolutely. So Howard's asked me if I can plug that OBD reader into his car. So Howard, I'm more than happy to do that when I see you next. So obviously Howard and I went to school together. How weird's that? All these years later, and you see that same name popping up on Facebook on groups, and it's like, are you that Howard? And it's like, yeah. Literally in the same. Well, yeah, I think we went on a Spanish trip together many years ago as well. Actually, that's how random that is. But yeah, we weren't looking for TTs then, though. But yeah,
right, chaps, I'm gonna have to check out.
Yeah.
Right, well, nice one for joining us, mate.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on, Don. Really appreciate that. And we'll definitely get you back on soon. Yeah.
Yes, mate. I'll catch you soon.
Enjoy the rest.
When's the next one? The 11th. Yeah, 16-minute details.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your holiday.
Yeah, have a good one, Dom.
Take care, buddy.
Mate.
Bye. See you. Bye.
Bye.
And just like that, we were back to 3. So thanks, Dom, for jumping on tonight, because I appreciate he's in the middle of his holiday. So really appreciate him spending some time.
Yeah, fair play to him, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Andy,
when
are you going to come to Ireland?
Well, funny you asked that, Steve. So we do need to arrange a trip. So maybe we can talk about that now, actually. So Stephen and I talked last week, and I did mention to Chris as well that we were thinking about doing a few road trips, and we would like to come over to Ireland. And Stephen has offered that, not to put us all up, but he has said that he'll come out and spend a couple of days and show us the coastal. Was it Copper Coast Road? You said?
Yeah. So probably if you're going to come over, you're going to come into Rosslare in Wexford. Yeah. And if you've got a hotel somewhere in Wexford, we could all meet up. And from there, we could, so Wexford's on the coast, we could do the coast road. There's a lovely lighthouse called Hook. So you know that saying, by hook or by crook?
Yeah.
So one side is Hook and the other side is Crook. So
wow.
So it's Hook Lighthouse. So we can go down and visit Hook Lighthouse, get some pictures of the cars outside it, and you can get the lighthouse in the background. You can drive on a bit more, and you take the ferry across into Waterford. So it's just a jetty, so you can just go across, or you can do an hour of a trip around. So it's a £5 to cross the on the ferry, and then we could go into down to Tramore, which is like a really big beach. So Troy is Moor is Irish for big, and Troy is beach, so it's big beach. That's what it's called. And then we go onto the Copper Coast Road, and we can go down and see the copper mine, which is basically just a large square building. But there is a minecart, so we can all get into it and look like Donkey Kong from the video games.
Right.
And we can tour around.
It sounds like a game of Minecraft. We're all getting in a minecart. So I have to bring a diamond pickaxe.
But
that's the way forward.
So there is a waterfall down there as well, and it's called, just leading up to the waterfall. There's a little piece of the road. It's called the Magic Road, and if you stop the car and put it in neutral, it actually does look like you're rolling uphill.
Really?
So, it's a weird phenomenon. I don't know how it works, but that's down there as well. So like we could like make a whole like maybe day of it. You know, if you came over,
let's do that. Yeah,
came over on Friday, just relax for Friday. You know, cruise on Sunday or Saturday and go home Sunday.
Yeah. I think we'll try and do that. We'll arrange something. We'll put something together for on the chat somewhere, or on the TT forum, or maybe on Facebook. We'll definitely share it with you guys. If anyone's interested, please drop us a note in the comments so that we can get your details, and then obviously we can get in touch if you fancy coming with us to Ireland for a couple of days to go and do that. I think that'd be really good. So we've got some things coming up over the next few months. Obviously, we've got the meet at the Motorist. We've obviously got I don't know. It's a meet up north somewhere.
Tell us more.
I don't know why no one's mentioned it. We've also got SpringFest in my back garden on the 24th of July. We've also got on the 11th of June, we're talking about arranging this little meet at Route 121 on the A21 on the way to Hastings at Robertsbridge. We've got that. Chris and I are talking about getting a date together. We need to put a date together soon for the Saturday morning. I think we're going to do it in September. I'm not sure which Saturday in September we're going to do it, but we're going to do Quattrophenia, where we're going to take all the TTs we can get our hands on, all meet up at Clapham Common. Or Wandsworth Common, I think it was, wasn't it? Just outside Clapham, and drive down to Brighton. So on a Saturday morning. Now, the only thing is that I'm trying to work out the logistics of is parking in Brighton is a nightmare.
I pretty much just park in that multi-story that we parked in.
We can't really walk around each other's cars there. They come. That's the trouble.
I know. So unless we just have to drive further down the coast and find somewhere, innit?
There is. So the route that we talked about is if we take the TTs over Ditchling Beacon, and we as we come over Ditchling and out the other side, there's a car park to the left. There's quite a big car park that's for people walking their dogs and things. So we could probably all meet there and do a bit of a meet and a walk around and a greet, and then drive on the rest of the way to Brighton and find somewhere. We can probably park out towards the marina. It's still going to be expensive, but we might better get parked there and have an ice cream and look at the Ferris wheel or whatever. So I think we'll definitely do something along those lines. So don't park in Brighton. Stop sign on that hill. Yeah. I think that's the thing, is it? I think the parking in Brighton is going to be a bit of a nightmare. So we will, we'll do something. I think maybe we'll do that. Oh, what's that? Toby and Simon said, Andy and Chris, check your phones for my new exhaust. Okay, you sent us a picture. We'll check that out. I don't think I'll be able to share it on screen though, because although be interested to know from you guys that are watching this week, have you found the feed more reliable, and has it been better this week? Because I've made quite a few technical tweaks to it, so it's like with the comments popping up and the screens look much better. So be interested.
Oh, mate, you want to check his exhaust out? I've just had a look.
Really? Is it that good?
You want to check his exhaust out? No, fair play, mate. I love it. That is cool. Let's cool. Have a quick look at that.
Can you hold it up to the screen or to the camera?
I don't know if it will work.
I don't think it will work.
Oh, okay.
I will see if I can. I'll give it a try. No, it's not going to work.
No.
Unfortunately not. Oh, wow. Yeah. So your exhaust now points upwards and backwards. Very, very interesting. Yeah. So,
Is there any way of getting that up on the screen?
I'm going to try. I'm going to see if I can, by the power of technology, I'll see if I can get that up somehow on screen. If I can pause that.
Because that is a different exhaust, isn't it?
So if I give it, I wonder if I can do.
Yeah, I can sort of see it there. Just a little bit.
There's the exhaust.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's sorted.
Oh, There you go. So look, the exhausts are actually pointing upwards. It looks like a couple of old drain pipes.
It does.
It sounds pretty mean as well. So, yeah. Guys, if you guys are enjoying what we're doing, then please do give us some feedback in the chat. And if you want to buy me and Chris a coffee for all our hard work that we do, there's also a little super thanks button in the chat, I think, which Chris was telling me all about. So yeah, there's definitely a little. So if you want to drop us a little comment in there, a little thank you, then any donations are appreciated. But don't feel like you have to. But if you want to do that, then it's all very much appreciated. So yeah, so Size said that Dom had some pixies with him. Yeah, I think that's the benefit of going away with small children. Right. I think you definitely have lots of background noise. Let's say, bless them. So yeah, my two at this stage now, where they don't actually want to go on holiday with me anymore, so I don't have to worry about it. I have a nice little quiet things. But something you've got to come up, Chris. You've got something to look forward to ahead.
I have. Yes.
Have you? I don't think you've actually shared your knowledge in public on this forum yet, but
no. Yeah, so SJ's pregnant, and we're having our first.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Yeah,
thank you. So around November, we call it Peanut at the moment because we don't know if it's going to be a boy or girl. So it's just Peanut.
Right.
So Peanut should be with us on the 13th of November.
Brilliant.
Congratulations.
Excellent. So is Peanut going to have a car seat in the back of the TT? That's the important thing.
Of course.
Of course, yeah. That's a reason not to buy Roadster.
2 TTs.
Wow, that's the thing, isn't it? That's absolutely the way forward. That's hence why I've got two of them. Well, we touched earlier, didn't we, about TTs and about wives, about buying a T. I think, Stephen, you mentioned about buying a TT for someone mentioned it. Maybe it was Dom, about buying it for someone who bought it for their lady friend or whatever. Well, I've bought both of mine for the fact that I bought it from the premise. I bought it for my wife. So the first one I bought was I said, I'm going to buy you a TT, buy you a nice little convertible for the summer. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, lovely. So I bought that, and then I said, I'm going to buy. Oh, it's not practical to use every day because it's it's in the winter, it gets cold, and it's in the roof. So I'm going to buy you a hardtop one. I'm going to buy a 3.2, and we're going to put it away. So instead, so I've bought both of mine on the premise that it's actually not for me, but really they're both for me to play with and toy with. They don't get driven; they just get looked at.
This is a bit like Homer Simpson buying the bowling ball for Marge. Like.
yeah, exactly right.
That.
I shouldn't say it too. Laddie, because she might be listening. So she'll give me a clip around here in a minute. No, she won't. She's a good girl. But yeah, so what have we got going on in the chat? Let's have a look at what people are saying in the chat. So we've got a lot of congratulations for Chris.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Oh yeah. I'll buy sleeping pills now. Yeah. It's you never sleep the same again. I have to say that's the difference. You never sleep the same again once you've had kids. But you can sleep the same again if you carry on buying bits for your TT.
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah. So
I'll move into the workshop.
Oh yeah. Well, I think you could probably put a nice little mezzanine across it, then you could have get a ramp in there. Then you can put one up on the ramp, and you can drive another one underneath it, and you can have an extra TT.
I do want to get a ramp.
Yeah, I think a ramp would be definitely the way forward. So jobs I've got coming up that I want to do, because I watched the video earlier, and I desperately want to do my oil strainers on both mine. Yeah, because I know you've done a video on it, Chris, as well, and I'm going to try and follow your video, and I'm going to do it an even. So Chris has got a straightforward guide on it, and I'm going to do a real beginner's guide because I don't even really know what I'm doing on that. So I'm going to even take back and even tell you what things are and what parts are on it. I think because it's just because there's a lot of people, as you said before, there's people out there that know their way around it, and they just want to watch a quick video to see how they just tighten a few nuts and things. And there's people that want the full instructions, but then there's people that are so scared to do it, like me, that they want someone that's got no experience to watch. So hopefully when I do it, it will be like that. So it will encourage anybody to do it if I can do it. That's why I look at it. And obviously my bumper, that's my next big thing I need to do because it does, which I'm looking forward to doing this week because I keep saying I'm going to do it.
If you are doing the engine work, do throw up like on screen the Newton meters of when you're tightening stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've watched videos like I just want to know how tight to put stuff.
Yeah.
Not to destroy it, but like I don't want it to come loose when afterwards either.
Yeah. So when I did my video on doing the CV boot, I did exactly that. So anyone that's got a torque bolt in it or any sort of torque for it, I always put up on screen what it is. And I use the Haynes manual for most of that for working out to do it. But even still, the Haynes manual, I personally don't think the Haynes manual is as good today as it was for cars, say 20 or 30 years ago. So when you had ones for like a Mark III Escort, as I go back to, it was brilliant. I reckon you could have done anything on that car with that book. Whereas now it's a bit like you see a picture every sort of like 8 or 9 steps, and you're thinking, well, where's the picture for this bit? Because I need to know about this bit, and I'm just going to guess, and guessing's obviously not great. So so Peter Loden's he's going to replace his pickup next, oil change, more guys the better on it. Yeah, absolutely right. I think
I did it before, and like because I was driving the car and the oil pressure warning light came on, and I was like,
right.
But it literally came on as I drove into my driveway. I was like, just shut the car off. That was it. And thankfully, it wasn't too far from the garage. You just push it into the garage and started up, and the light came on straight away. And I was like, it's a bit weird. Like, you know, it wasn't right. So as I've watched every other video, like the Humble Mechanic or any of those YouTube videos, they all say it's the oil strainer. Drop the pan, check the oil strainer, perfectly clean. I was like, now what do you do? So it turned out to be the sensor in the end, and a lot of people, you know, I put up the video of just how to change the sensor, and you want small hands, like, you know, that's why people have TTs and children, because they need children with small hands, like to get in there, like
get in those places.
I don't know how you're meant to do it. Like my arms aren't the biggest, but like I was like, how like in a commercial garage, how do they do it? Like they must have like,
isn't it near the oil filter, near like the oil cooler, oil filter sort of area?
But you have to like tunnel in to get it. Like it isn't like obvious that you can see it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I've done my strainer before I got my one on the road, like before I got it MOT and everything. So I have had a Mark 1 like about 10 years ago, and luckily that had a new engine on it anyway.
Yeah.
But I knew about that problem, so I knew that I was going to do that before I got it on the road. So I was like, it's getting done. And I run 540 oil in it as well, which I got from what's it called? Cloud Custom 9, isn't it? Cloud 9.
Clouds.
Billy Clouds,
yeah, nice.
So I got the service kit off him and the pickup pipe. It's all genuine parts and filters and stuff, but he does do the 540 oil, and it does keep the engine nice and quiet. And to be fair, I run 540 in both my TTs, Mark 1 and Mark 2. And all tuners I speak to say to use the 540, not the 530.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I ran, so like I nearly have 200,000 miles because I have a very high mileage, but it was all motorway driving. So like there was no like short journeys in it. It was very long journeys. And I read on every forum, use 540 because with engines with high mileage, they're going to be flatter and you know, the tolerances won't be as good. And I did find that my MPG though dropped. So then I put the 530 back in and the MPG went back up again. So I can see why both of them should be used. I think like
as long as they're in manufacturer's spec, it's all good, isn't it? I think it's like 504 point something or something like that.
And that's also it's a good point that obviously you need to make sure you do frequent oil change on it, not only protect the engine, but if you're running thick old gloopy engine through the engine, you're making that work a lot harder, that engine, and by doing so you're getting worse fuel economy. So if you've got thinner oil on it, obviously if your oil's too thin, it's not doing its job. But if it's thick and gloopy because it hasn't been changed, you're going to lose some fuel economy on it. We've got a question. So Barry Rappers has put that he's got the Forge Motorsport sump to fit, so he'll be doing the oil pickup pipe at the same time. So that sounds quite a good thing. And Cy makes a Pigeon Guard game. Cy, he makes a great point about the 3.2, and I totally agree with him here. Is that the Haynes manual does not cover the V6 at all? It's just rubbish for that. There's nothing.
Is it just all about the 1.8? Is it?
It's all about the 1.8. Yeah. All about it. So it's not great. So
the people that wrote it must have lived in Ireland.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
3.2, no one can afford the tax on that. We don't need to cover it.
Oh, so a quick question also from Barry Rappers is exhaust manifold has a small crack, so replace the standard or high flow, i.e. a 34 Motorsport one. So the manifold, I'd say replacing the exhaust manifold is a bit of a fiddly old job, is it not? Because it's on the, the way to get to. It's a big job.
And all those nuts and bolts are going to be absolutely rusted.
Yeah. All that heat cycling it's gone through as well. It's all been welded together.
Yeah, like I've done the ones on the Corrado and basically just get blowtorch and redden each one of them individually and then wind them all off in sequence. But like, not a nice job. And it's so easy to snap a bolt.
Would you say you got a bit more space on the Corrado than the TT?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? I think that the under the engine bay, we've got the engine, you've got the bonnet open. You look at the 225 and you look at the 3.2, and I think space wise they both look as crammed as each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's because there's all of the sort of the PCV and the charge pipe and stuff on the turbo and the turbo itself, taking up all that space that you're taking up with the lump that is the V6. That's why you can shoehorn both those in. So I am interested to see how people put a turbo on a 3.2, because where do you put that pipework? You must have to put a massive bulge in the bonnet to get it all in.
But does the 3.2, does it sit more forward? Because it does I've seen on
it's
Mark 3s and 4s that, there is a lot of real estate behind the engine. That the engine sits so far forward.
Yeah, and I suppose you've got things like the airbox is in the same place. So, if you need to put something in there, you can probably save some space by putting a cone in there, or I don't know, you can make some space. But okay, so mine came off okay, has changed the oil return pipe. Okay, so he's managed to get his exhaust manifold off already. So, well, that's good to know that you're able to do that.
So with those manifolds, I've heard that with the tubular manifolds that he's thinking of going for, I have heard that some of them do crack.
Right.
So be careful of that. But a lot of people use the China fold manifold as well. I don't know if you guys have heard of those, the China fold.
No.
Basically, it's Chinese, but it's a lot better and it's a lot stronger.
Where do they think of that name from? Where'd they get the name from?
Badger used to sell them.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Yeah, the China fold. But the only problem with them is you have to grind them and get them to work like really well to get them to fit properly. Right. So there's a lot of grinding to get the old Dremel out on those to do well. A lot of people do use them, and you can run over 300 horsepower with them, because when you get to a certain brake horsepower, the standard manifold doesn't handle it anyway, and you do have to do something about it. But obviously, I mean, 34 Motorsport 1, it's a well-known company. You shouldn't have too many problems. That's probably a lot better than getting an eBay special sort of tubular one, which I reckon would just crack within 6 months.
Yeah, I think
I think it's one of those things you get what you pay for.
Yeah. Interestingly, when we're talking about sort of aftermarket parts and different bits and pieces, I did ask. I reached out to Gravity to see if they'd come on and chat to us, because Chris has done a lot of work with Gravity. And
they don't like me, do they?
Well, no, I don't think it's a case of that. I've changed my background, guys. I've gone back to my original. I'm off on holidays now, and so there was no mention of anyone in particular, and I said that we'd like to invite people along to talk about parts, and I think if Gravity want to come on and talk about their bits, I think it's a great opportunity for them to get in front of the guys that are interested in doing mods for their cars. Yeah. But they were unavailable today, unfortunately. But I think they did say if they get some opportunities in the future, they would like to come on. And I would like to try and get a few people on from different, it'd be great to get Billy on for Billy Cloud. And we talk about some of his stuff and some, great mods he's got that he can share with us all as well. So I will try and get a few. I think obviously tonight we've gone for a very much the YouTubers feel, so we're getting Stephen's sort of view on that. And Stephen, did you send over your links? I've not seen it, so I can put it in the chat. I definitely want to share.
Yeah, I can send it again.
Yeah, send it in the chat so we can highlight it on screen. So I'm going to read back. Go on.
Gravity's okay, Andy. I mean, obviously, the intercooler. So the things in the cooler, I told them when I fitted it and everything. And obviously, I saw what the core was like, and I wasn't that impressed with the core. I actually sent them some pictures of what the core should look like, just to sort of help them out. Say, look, this product actually fits quite well. Obviously, you've got to butcher the front bumper. The actual fitted onto the car is really nice. The pipework does all fit, but the core's not great. So I sent a picture of what a proper tube and fin core should look like. And if they just done that, it'd be a great product.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. That's the thing, and I think making them aware of what we want almost as it's going to help their business because they're going to sort of sell more stuff. So I might reach out to Forge as well and try and see if we can get Forge on. So I know that's sort of stuff that you're looking to go for. So there's another few sort of questions in the chat as well there. So Mark Hughesman Smith just ordered the Liquid Molygen 5W40 ready for the Motorist meet. So there's someone that's coming to the Motorist. Mark Hughesman Smith, good to see you. We'll see you that day. Barry's put he got lucky taking that manifold off from looking at the vids, which is always a good thing to know. So and Barry's also put there. Sounds great to get some suppliers involved, and I think it is. Yeah, I think we so Peter's put Cloud9 catch can sets are very good. Yeah, do you know what?
I've done the video on that, didn't I?
Yeah, and I'm obviously my cars are both standard, so I've got no skin in the game when it comes to mods.
Yeah,
but I only ever hear great stuff about Billy Cloud stuff from lots of different people. So I think that we can give that a nice little.
I went and saw Billy. I went down to Billy. See, he doesn't live that far away from you, does he?
No, he doesn't. No, and we've mentioned that. So next time you come down, we'll have to go and do a little visit down there and see him.
Yeah, so I got the catch can off him, and I got that big Pro Ram air filter induction kit off him.
You did, yeah.
And so I got videos of those all fitting them, and a lot of people say about how we do the PCV, and obviously you got the oil cap that obviously flaps around on top now because you move the PCV and all that sort of thing. And to be fair, Roy's saying I've tested it. And I've loosened my cat with the catch cat, and it does vibrate. But as soon as you give it any type of throttle, it just sucks in again.
Yeah.
So because obviously then everything's moving again. It's just only really on idle it does that. So I am thinking about putting a PCV valve back into the inlet manifold where it's supposed to go, running off that pipe. So like basically in line with his kit. So I see the T-piece and then obviously the valve, and just see whether that sorts it out. But I don't know if he looks at yours, Andy, and yours done it as well.
Yeah, did we not undo
you haven't got a catch can.
No, but did we not undo the cap to try that to see the vibration of it? Yeah, exactly right.
Yours done exactly the same, didn't it?
Yeah.
And you don't have a catch can?
No, well, not that we know of, not that we found. But, we have had a look. But see, Si's put there, that Bryn had a problem with their exhaust as well. And I remember Bryn did...
they hang a bit low, I think.
Yeah, he did it. I think he did like a bit of a feedback for. Was it someone like? It wasn't Monroe, or it was someone with shocks where the actual.
Bilstein.
Bilstein. That was it. And he said that he'd said repeatedly that this is a known problem and do something about it. So interesting there that Peter's put that Bryn went back to Gravity and they sorted out the problems he had with the system. So obviously their feedback, they do take stuff on board. So it would be good to get them on and see if we can talk about it. Oh, Jules has got the V1 Gravity, but you had that charge pipe, didn't you? That popped off because it didn't have the dent. We worked out that it was.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. It's a good product. It looks good. It's well made. Just give it the dent.
Yeah.
If it has the dent, it will fit so much better. It's just I think Gravity stuff. I think it is good. But it's not quite there. It's just a few little tweaks they could do, and they'll have a brilliant show. And they'll sell loads. They'll sell so many more.
Yeah,
if they just do a couple of little bits of it.
So Gravity guys, if you watch this, on the feedback afterwards on the replay, then obviously I'm sure Chris would be quite happy to get in touch and pass his feedback on. Obviously, I've got no involvement in it because I don't know anything about mods because mine is very, very standard. But
and myself and Andy would love free stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But we would love. Yeah. And Stephen would like one to try it to make sure it works the same in Ireland.
Yeah, because something could happen.
Stephen, you can have my Gravity stuff if you want.
Yeah. In fact, Stephen, I think obviously if I reach over to my my top done Artilink 400 that I'm going to try.
Yes.
Maybe if the guys from Top Don are watching, definitely get in touch with Stephen because he would like to try one as well. So I think we could all
give an honest review then.
Yeah, absolutely right. Because if
the problem is mine's a 500, not 400.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Well, mine's a 401.
You got last year's product.
Yeah, I've got the old one. No, well, do you know what? I'm happy. If people want to send me stuff to try, I'll give it a go. But
same.
If we get ourselves up to 10,000, do you reckon subscribers it goes up? We get other products. Then do you think it works?
Let's hope so.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm just grateful for everyone that tunes into my channel and watches it. So I'm hoping, I really, you know, I know I said that last time we were on, that we're all really grateful for you guys that sort of take the time to watch our videos and give us feedback and ask us questions, because the number of videos I've got in the works at the moment tend to come out of questions I'm being asked, that people are saying, how do I do this or how do I do that? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to go and find out because it happened to me. So one thing I'm going to do in the next couple of weeks is I'm going to do a headlight deconstruction video. So I'm going to take the headlight apart, including the glass off, because a lot of people say, I want to colour my the internals of my light, so I don't want silver anymore. I want them like carbon or whatever. How do we get the lens off? And I thought, well, luckily I've got a headlight that sits in the garage off a TT. I thought I'm going to strip it down, take all the components off it, work out how to do it. So you can undo it, and it's got like a beading of butyl that seals the light. Because obviously you probably noticed that a headlight sometimes go cloudy on the inside and full of moisture.
And little bugs and everything like.
Yeah, and then bugs, exactly. And that's what someone raised it for me. And then obviously as time went on, in the summer, that moisture will tend to evaporate and disappear. Think, oh, it's gone. And then it gets to winter again, it gets moist and it comes back. And that's because normally the butyl liner around the edge has failed.
Yep.
So I'm going to take it apart, remove the butyl, put new butyl in, refit it, and then happy days. And hoover the bugs out at the same time, because that's what people know. And also I might even colour code it so we can show you how you would do all those bits. So that's my video coming up. So no pinch my ideas, Chris. That's what I'm doing this week.
So what I'm doing this week, I'm taking the headlight out, splitting it.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
We'll all do the same video.
Yeah. And then we'll all review the Top Don AL 400. Well, Chris can do the 500, but I'll do the 400.
I probably won't even bother doing the 500. But I'm going to have a look at my jumper packs. I do actually quite like that.
Yeah, that does look nice. So I'm going to ask for one of those as well. Please,
yeah,
sir.
they do.
Ask for
the jumper pack. Yeah.
Well, why don't you see if they do a better model and then ask them for the better model than I've got? So I've got 1200.
Well, I'm going to ask for the 1300 then.
Exactly.
So Mark says he's just taking delivery of his cat can from Billy Cloud. So on Thursday, for the bank holiday weekend. Yeah, that's the thing we've got in the UK, obviously. You know, Stephen, I don't think you come under that, I'm afraid. But we've got a couple of extra days off this week, although I'd love to say I've got time to do it, but unfortunately I'm off to Creamfields on Friday. Check me out. I'm going to be the oldest swinger in town. And I will be there, as I said before, in my Andycharger t-shirt with my Creamfield logo on it. So if you see me with my glasses going round, come and give me a shout if you're there as well. We can all talk about being old and driving these old cars. But
you have business cards?
I have got we'll have a card available.
Will you be handing them out like?
Well, if I see a TT, yeah, you know I will be. So so what's Jules put on his gravity? He says the pipe just hangs down quite low, but if your car ain't sat on its arse, then fine. Mine's been on 2 years now. Excellent. Okay, so Jules is quite happy with his V1 gravity. That sounds good. And excellent sounding exhaust. Mark W's asked, what kind of diverter valve sound best? Greetings from Ireland. Oh, there you go, Stephen, fellow countryman there. So so what kind of diverter valve sound best? Anyone know?
Well, you don't really get any sound from the diverter valve. It comes through the air filter.
I don't mean what do they sound like. I mean which ones sound best. But which one have you heard about? I guess is the question.
People go for the Forge. Is it 008 or something like that?
Right. Okay.
Something 008. People usually use.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Can you get any flutter off the dump valve?" So no, you don't get any flutter off the dump valve. What you do is you hear it echoing back through the air filter.
Yeah, so
if you've got a big cone, you hear it.
Yeah.
If it dumps the atmosphere, do you lose like acceleration? You know, as soon as you go back onto throttle again.
Well, yeah, they're not really made to. They're supposed to be diverters, isn't they? Not proper blow-offs. That's how the engine's designed.
Does the ECU or anything like freak out that you suddenly have drop boost, or do you end up with limp mode? Or
I think it doesn't really help blowing off because you think then it's losing boost to then build up again, isn't it? So I think it's is it a Forge P008 or something like that? Which I heard a lot of people basically run those, and there's 3 different springs in it. I think there's a blue spring, a yellow spring, and a green spring, all for different boosts that you're running. So like stage 1, stage 2, or standard car, you put a different sort of stiffness of spring in there.
Yeah. Going back to those dump valves, and this is where my naivety comes out. So when back in the late 80s, early 90s, everyone was like, oh, stick a dump valve on your turbo.
Yeah, old Bailey's dump valve, isn't it? Yeah, old Bailey's ones.
And I thought, yeah, I get it, but it to me, it just sounds like someone's fallen off your car. It's like a pipe's popped off. But, you know, that's just me, but I guess so. So Tate Hanson's he's got the gravity charge pipe on his Roadster, and it works great with a lovely turbo sound. So that's good to know. So there you go. So big thumbs up for gravity there. Size asked if I'm taking my business cards to Creamfields. Then yes, I will be, and I will be. I am. Don't leave home without them. And Mark Hughesman Smith, I've just worked out who you are after all that. You are the guy that won the TT, that won the bet and bought the car with the money. That's who you are. I recognise you from your handle. That TT 225 MHS, I've worked out you are. You're the guy I was calling Matt in the video, and I apologise because I was calling you Matt.
I saw him the other weekend at at Domsbury.
I saw the number plate. I recognise the number plate.
Together.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. And Pete Loader's he's got the Forge one also. Is that Peter? Is that the Oh, that's not the charge pipe. That's the Forge.
That's the blow-off valve, the diverter valve. Yeah.
Okay. And I have the Forge 007, and that's about the same as the 008. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, right. Yeah. So people are doing bits then to their cars by the look of it, and it's interesting. Mods. I mean, Stephen, have you got any mods on your car?
Engine-wise, no. It's hard enough to keep the car running perfectly without adding extra stuff that I could mess up. So no, everything is 100% standard. But when I got the car, because I had such high mileage, I replaced everything. So all the oils have been replaced, the Haldex oil replaced, engine oil, everything. I have a full video on that. But so the only major mods I suppose I have is, when I open the doors, I have put lights. So I have the Gecko with the Audi symbols. I saw it online. I was like, it's obviously for the TT, but they don't sell it, or there isn't any put lights. So I was like, I gotta have it. So I absolutely love it. So when you open the doors, there's a little Gecko and the Audi symbols, and you stand in that, and you can get out. That's pretty cool. And the other one that I use probably every day is on the boot. The only way to open the boot was to open with the key, and my button is worn out. So I'd have to go into the car to press the button to release the boot. They go around to open the boot. This drove me mad. So I just wired in an extra button. So I can, from outside the boot, I just tap the button and it opens. It's hidden away. And the nice thing is, when I lock the car, it also disables the button so it doesn't work when it's locked. And when I unlock it, it comes back to life.
I was going to say, is that not a bit of not an anti-theft device? That's a theft device. I'll press the button and fly through the back.
And I've been on that as well.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so I know that you've got a lot of videos. You've also got a great video on how to add an extra 5 brake horsepower to your car.
How would you do that?
Your brake calipers. So
you got to wear red brake calipers.
Absolutely right.
I think we discussed a lot last time. It's on different colors. You get extra horsepower, do you?
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, so yellow ones probably 7.5. I don't know. Maybe green ones 10. Green are environmentally friendly. They probably go the other way. I don't know. So yeah. So
green's eco mode, isn't they?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So I'll be interested to know in the chat, because there's quite a few names I recognise. Hands up in the chat if you're coming to Springfest. I reckon there's a few names that are there, and tickets have obviously sent out to people. So if you are coming, please do let me know in the chat so I can make sure I've sent you all tickets. I'm pretty sure I've sent them all out now. So that's all good, I think. So what else have you got going on then, Chris? Much going on?
Well, this week, so I've got to obviously get that video up on that, whether you can still buy a 3.2 at a fair price.
Yeah.
I need to go and do a swap over of the cars. So I've got the Mark II at home at the moment, so I want to get the Mark I back. I was going to do it this weekend, but I just ran out of time to do that. And I want to give it a good little clean and stuff, and just sand back that mirror that I painted, just give that a polish up. So do a swap over on that.
Yeah. Have you got much going on the Mark II, though, or not?
I've done the cam follower the other week for the high pressure fuel pump, replaced that. So that's all done. That car's all been serviced up. It's got a fresh MOT on it. I mean, that car, nothing wrong with it at all. It's perfect. It's just that's what I do. Is every week or 2 weeks, I just swap the cars over. So, I mean, I don't daily any of them, so I use the X5. But then it's like nice having like the Mark 1 out the front for a little while. So I'll go and cruise that around when on the weekends after work and take it to work occasionally. And obviously I'll swap them over, which is good. So yeah, it'd be nice just to get the Mark 1 back here again and have a little play with that again and just see if there's any little bits that I need to do on it at the moment. I mean, at the moment, I'm trying not to do too much to them because I want them to be, I don't want them in pieces because I do want to drop all the subframes, polybush the whole lot, get all powder coated subframes. But obviously there's so much shows and things going on, I can't afford to have a car in pieces.
That's the problem, isn't it?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need to be able to, and I've found with a lot of jobs now that you need to research any job you do so well, because I find you'll start a job and you'll be following a set of instructions and you get sort of 3 or 4 steps into it and then, oh, this bit, you need to replace this bit when you refit it. And you think, well, I haven't got that. So then you have to go off and order it. And that sort of like scuppers you then for a few days. The bit turns up, you carry on. Particularly a lot of these parts come in from, they're not even local, are they? So they're coming from Germany or Scandinavia or wherever. So,
and some parts coming over from Germany, an absolute nightmare to get in as well. A lot of things are like backdated and stuff. It's just so difficult to get bits at the moment.
Yeah, when you're in that, like my car is a daily car, so like I drive it every day, and so whatever you do, you have to be sure that like
it's back together.
Tomorrow I have to be able to drive it. Like
exactly that.
And the last job I did actually only during the week was the rocker cover gasket, and like the same thing like you said, Andy. Like, oh, it's just a simple, like you just buy the gasket, that's it. Then I found out there's a second gasket that you need over the chain tensioner, and then there's a half moon, and then you have to compress that. But they don't sell it as one kit, so you buy these 3 kits. Oh, I had all the parts. I'm going, oh, I need this little. It basically looks like an Allen key, and you wind it in and compresses the chain tensioner. I was going, like, why don't they just sell it all together as one kit? Because I'm not going to take it
as a kit.
Because I'm not going to take it apart, put the gasket in, then put it back together again, get the next part, take more of it apart.
Yeah, you'd think there would be sort of standard jobs that you do on these cars that you say that's a kit. You've got a kit for it, so it's got all the bits in it, so that's the job. But you know, one nice mod I have seen. I've not seen one on a TT yet, and it's a little bit scary to look at when it's going because I saw one for the first time a couple of weeks ago. So you know the timing belt cover on the car,
Citra or something, is it?
Yeah. Have you seen one?
Not on TT, but I've seen them on the Honda or the
Skylines and things like that. Yeah.
I see one on a VXR, a Vauxhall, an Astra, and he was my mate of mine said, he opened his bonnet, and as I said, we were talking about it last night. We had a game yesterday, and we were talking about it, and I said, what is really cool about looking under your car, because it's got a charge pipe, it's got a turbo, it's got all the bits that we know from the TT. Okay, they're in different places, but once you understand the principle behind the engine, how it works, we've all got the same sort of bits, just different sizes, different shapes. And but we were talking about this VXR. Well, so to speak. And that's a change room, isn't it? So I
wasn't quite sure what you were getting at there.
Well, I am talking about the engine, mate. And this timing cover, and he started the engine up, and to see all that going on, it's just like when you can't see it, and the same with the engine. When you don't see it moving, it's fine because it's all in a box. You know, you can't see it. But when you actually see all those bits moving around, I'm like, how does this all not explode? Yeah, you know, when you see it all moving like that. And I've seen that there's a guy that does a video on taking the timing chains off a V6. It's a Dutch guy, and he's got a V6 lump on a bench, on a workbench, and he's changing the timing chains. And I thought, I'll have a go at that, or it can't be too hard. And it's about a 30-minute video, and he's got this engine out of the car, and I got about 2 minutes into it, and I said, don't ever let me try and think I can do this job, because there are so many bits he was taking off, and I was thinking, if you've got to get all those bits back on the timing chains in exactly the right place, and I know they've all got marks on the cogs where you line it all up, but that scares the hell out of me. I mean, would you do? I mean, I think when Dom and Bryn were doing that video last week, they were saying in it that other people put videos up on how to do a timing belt, but you know, it's such a tricky thing, and there's lots of shortcuts and different ways of doing it, that they don't want to put their name to it. And I get that, because I think it's such a catastrophic failure if that goes wrong.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to take it somewhere that knows what they're doing, I think, is the answer. Like Bryn, obviously, because Bryn knows exactly what he's doing. So, and it'll be interesting to get him on the chat actually in a couple of weeks, and we'll sure he's got lots of tales of woe to tell us and things to avoid, which will be quite good. Someone's put, you should start a podcast. Paddy Irishman, Paddy Englishman, Paddy Welshman. All right.
I think that could work.
I'll do that, yeah.
Well, this is kind of a podcast anyway, like.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. We're sort of turning it into
can see each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's a podcast with pictures. And a nice pictures.
And we're at the beach.
To the beach. Yeah, and the beach. Although I've got rid of my beach. I've gone back to the car.
You should have stayed on the beach, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess does the people know I'm Welsh then? Is that why the Welshman's come out? Or is that just a rough guess? Because I guess they realise that Chris is English, and obviously they realise.
But maybe they thought you were Irish and I was Welsh.
Well, maybe. I've got the green on, but I am definitely Welsh, 100% Welsh. But although I don't sound it, I know. But there you go. That's how we roll. So we are going to be doing these on a weekly basis. A 2 weekly basis. We seem to be doing them at the moment. So I think we will keep it up. So guys in the chat, if you are enjoying this, then please do let us know, because it is if we're boring the pants off, then we won't bother doing them. But I think it's good to get together in it and just chat about stuff, about our cars and what we've got going on. So
like what I still find amazing is like, the TT is 20 years of age, and like still people are going, that is a cool car. Like, I was cutting silage all today, and the family that we went to that were hosting us while we were cutting silage, the elderly grandmother, like, you know, she drove me down to the field to get into one of the machines, and she just looked at my car and go, that's a nice car. Now, she must be about, I don't know, 60 or 70 and has no interest in cars whatsoever. And she just said straight out, that's a nice car.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Like, even still, people that have no interest in cars know what a TT is, but also just think they are nice cars.
They are.
Yeah. They are.
My mum always
makes you happy when you see another one on the road, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mum says when she comes round, she always says, your cars always look so lovely. I think, yeah, but you're not under the bonnet working on it when you're going.
That is exactly
it. They always look so nice, but they do, don't they? Because it's like it always looks like it's in motion.
Yeah,
the shape of it always looks like it's moving. So it's a great looking car like that. So size, but good to chat to you guys about cars. Wife is getting very bored with it. Oh well, maybe we can start an alternative chat about whatever she wants to talk about. If she wants to chuck something else in the mix, so we can talk about it. Yeah, I'll be tuned in. That's good. Yeah, TTs are art on four wheels. Yeah, I think Bauhaus art, I think you referred to it as, I think is what you refer to it as. So it's they are a work of art, aren't they? Inside as well. They're all the little features. All the features. And everyone knows my favourite feature on TT. And Si asked me for a picture of it yesterday, actually. The tweezers. They're the best thing ever.
You love the tweezers, don't you?
I love the tweezers.
Yeah. Oh, this is for the fuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many times do you open a fuse box on most cars and they've got those little micro fuses and you're trying to get your fingers in, you get a screwdriver and poking them out and then end up getting 12 volts of fun for your body. But where they've actually put those little tiny tweezers in so you can grip and remove a fuse, I mean, that is just... Someone's obviously realised that the fuse is going to go, so they make the fuse box very accessible. Although I did do a video on that, because when I go looking for a fuse box or for a car, first place I'm going to look is a glove box. It's not there. Then I'm going to pop the bonnet and look under the bonnet. It's not there. And then I'm thinking, where is this fuse box? There must be lots of people out there with a TT that think, where the hell is the fuse box? And then, of course, it's behind the end panel on the dash with a lovely set of handy tweezers to pull your fuse out. So,
would it not be better if they just made the fuses bigger, though?
Oh, they could do that, yeah. Or employ children at the garage to take the fuses out.
Yeah, because they're tiny little fingers.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Oh, someone put up a message and then pulled it back. So I don't know what that was. I don't know if he was being abusive. Maybe you have to give you a red card if you're being abusive. I'm sure you weren't. I'm sure you'd obviously made a spelling mistake or something. So yeah. So what's your what would you say is your favourite design feature of the car? Do you think, guys? What actually makes you look at that car and go, wow?
I like this. I like the way the shape of it. To be honest, with you, the way it sort of like comes down and just sort of flares out a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering for a while, like, I I remember putting up on one of the Facebook groups, like, can you take off the rear spoiler and what's the maximum speed before like it flips out? Just to have maybe a different look to the car, but because it is like nearly a perfect silhouette, like from front to back, like if it was going in reverse, you wouldn't know is it going forwards or backwards if you didn't have the spoiler, and that's the way it was designed originally to look like. But
there's a few people on Facebook without the spoiler.
Yeah,
they do take it off, and they do look pretty cool, but they are there for obviously safety. So.
Yeah, and there are people that have got the cars that have never had that spoiler fitted. You know, they've still got the original. Yeah. And they always tend to be in aviator grey, I've noticed. There's always aviator grey ones without a spoiler. And they do look absolute business. They really do.
Yeah. I think they look cool without a spoiler.
Yeah, but I also think now that our eyes have become so used to seeing the TT with that spoiler that they almost look a little bit odd when you see it without now. It does look like more like the concept car did.
That's what I was getting at.
It definitely has that, but it's So Si's just put in the chat. Maybe that's what he was putting up. He hasn't retracted this one, which is good. He said, "Did you know there's a pair of tweezers for taking off the wheel centers?" And no, I did not know that.
Yes, there is.
Where are they?
Well, it's actually in the boot, like in on top of the spare wheel. And it's actually like
one's gone.
It looks like a shape of an R or a P, and then you just put it in and you give it a little twist, and you can pull the covers off. So how do you get your covers off?
By sticking a screwdriver in the back, carefully, a bit of rag and pinging it off. But they are a nightmare to put on, get on and off anyway. I think because you've got that. I think Dom and Bryn was showing in the video this week when they where someone put a layer of mastic round holding the middle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there's those little plastic bits in the middle that sort of grip.
Yeah,
they obviously spread. So if you're a bit heavy-handed and you're like go back on, you're going to end up snapping them off, which I think people do. And they have that little metal ring, don't they? That's like a retaining clip in the middle.
Yeah, it's like nearly a perfect circle that expands. Yeah,
exactly right. So it forces it on. So when I first got my 225. I had my wheels refurbed, and the guys did a great job on it. And the centre caps look a bit naff. And I was thinking, what? And then I looked online on eBay. I found a set brand new centre caps for about £15. I thought, that's quite good. I'll buy those. So they turned up, and they're plastic. And I thought, oh right, okay. And they look plastic.
Yeah.
And it's obvious they look horrendous. So if anyone wants a set of those plastic centres, I've got a set in the garage. So so I've got that right. So I'm going to stay on for a few minutes, but I think Chris, you've got to shoot.
Yeah, I've got to shoot off now.
All right. So Steve and I will stay on for a few minutes and just finish up, I think. And but thanks for joining us tonight, Chris, and we'll have you back obviously in 2 weeks on our own show. So we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're back in 2 weeks. Yeah, I've just got a couple little bits to do now quickly.
No worries,
early start tomorrow. So it was good chatting to everyone. I think it was a good live tonight.
Yeah.
Good to have a chat with you as well, Stephen. Obviously, it'd be great to get you back on here again.
Thanks very much.
Do it again. Obviously, come over here sometime. Obviously, come TT. It'd be good if you can come to Springfest. I don't know if that's a possibility or anything like that. I know it's only like a couple of months away now, but all sorts of things like that. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right in the middle of harvest season.
Yeah,
so it's not ideal, is it?
I've been driving the side harvester for the last 2 days, so
yeah,
it's weird.
No, we'll have arranged for us obviously to come over there and see you.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
With other TT people if they want to come as well, as Andy said earlier.
Yeah, that'd be
and obviously arrange for you to come over here, maybe when we've got some shows and stuff coming up, so you can come and see what the TT scene is like over here as well.
Yeah,
absolutely right. Yeah. Too right.
So
all right, Chris.
So nice one, lads. I will speak to you later, and thanks everyone to be tuned in tonight, and see you in a couple of weeks.
Cheers, Chris. Speak to you in a week, mate.
Cheers, Andy. Cheers, Stephen.
Bye. Bye.
So that would be Chris gone, I think.
Yeah.
There
we go.
Yeah, and then there were two.
Then there were two.
So guys, so you see that Peter, you said the back end is really nice on the 225, isn't it? You've got that whole everyone loves that view, don't they? And I think you see a lot of people on Facebook and they say, send me a picture of your rear end sort of thing. So it's a bit like, oh, okay. But I know what they're getting at, but everyone that just looks so like fat on the road almost. It looks just looks just looks it looks such a great car from behind.
Especially the 225 when you have the twin exhaust, like, you know.
Yeah.
It always looks a bit lonely when you see the 180s and they just have the one exhaust. It's like,
yeah.
I can see why people like literally just go out and buy the 225 exhaust and just stick it on to the 180s.
Yeah. And that's the thing you get. I saw something very unusual this week, actually. Someone was looking to swap, you know, on the diffuser, the rear diffuser panel at the bottom with the honeycomb grille. So on the 3.2 is the honeycomb grille. Yeah. And someone was looking to swap. They wanted to swap their double for a single. So I could understand someone wanting to get rid of the single. They want a double. But I don't mind. I didn't even know they did a single one until I saw it this week. And I thought that's quite an unusual thing to see.
As in, instead of having two holes, one hole is actually solid blocked up.
Yeah. So literally on the diffuser, where you've got the two holes, there's nothing on the other side. So it's not like it's been filled in. It's just a continuation of the panel. So you've only got the one hole for the 150 or the 180. So I don't think the 150 has that panel, but I might be wrong. You don't see many 150s around because there tend to be roadsters, don't there? I think the 150, but I don't suppose you've seen many of those in Ireland. Have you? The 150? They're cheaper to insure, surely, and cheaper tax.
Yeah. Well, no. Will the tax piece still be the same because it'd be on liters?
Yeah. Not on the brake horsepower.
Oh, like there isn't a huge difference now between the BAM and the 6-cylinder. Well, it was 225 to what? 245 or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that your horsepower?
On the V6.
Yeah.
247, I think it was 246, 247 it is. Whereas the Quattro Sport's 240.
Yeah.
225 is obviously 225. So, there you go. Peter's got a honeycomb single for his 180. So is that standard, Peter? Is that have you had that from the factory like that? I guess you must have done. So, I presume you have. I see Mark's put up there about the side view of the bonnet where it meets the front wings. Yeah, it looks good. I've also seen this that panel between the door. So on the front wing, you've got that bit between the indicator and the wing and the sort of the bonnet. And people, it's sort of like a triangular shape, and people tend to color code it. I've seen that on a few times. That looks really smart. So it's like a nice little mod that people do. I don't know if you've seen that before.
Is it just behind the front door?
Yeah, so in front of the front door on the front wing, you've got that like triangular part. So people cut over where the wheel arch. So you've got the wheel arch. It's actually all part of the wing, but they just take part of it and they colour. It's like a triangle section. And people are seeing paint it black or they have it carbon. It looks amazing.
Is this to make it look like the R8?
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay.
And I've seen some people that've actually cut that away. They've got a hole there, so it looks really quite crazy. So
that's mad.
There was someone I noticed that had put there was a car that had got the R8 sort of the panel behind the doors. You know there's that black panel behind the doors.
Yes.
And someone was done it with vinyl and they were peeling it off, and people were saying, "Why would you do this to a car?" Because it looks almost like the is it the RX-7 that looks like it's got those very small, the Mazda, is it the very small?
Oh, the RX-8, yeah. And they have these little tiny doors, and they're like hidden ones, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what this car looked like. It looked like a 4-door TT, I thought, because it had these funny little Velcro vinyl bits on the back. So, yeah, all right. So he ordered it from Audi. So it's definitely a part. Okay. It's at one. Oh, that one. Oh, yeah, Peter, we talked about your car, I think, and that you'd made massive performance gains because the 150 up to the 180 was just literally just a tune, I think, wasn't it? If I remember rightly when we spoke. And so you've made a massive increase in brake horsepower up to 205 just by literally tuning. I mean, that's going from 150. I mean, show me another car where you can go from that with a tune, you know. So if you could, in the grand scheme of things, obviously, if you're putting a 225 with a tune up that's going to gain 55 horsepower, that would be a monster tune. You know, if you're going to be pushing 270 out of it, or 280 out of it, rather.
Yeah, like does that just mean from the factory that Audi were just a bit like relaxed with it?
Yeah, I think the 180 engine and the 150 engine are the same, and they've just literally down-tuned it. That's all they've done. So there's not like different bits on it, I don't think. They've just obviously gone for that, you know. I guess, would it be for maybe an insurance perspective? Would people do that to make cheaper insurance and sell the car?
Or is it from a sales point of view where, like, you have it in different classes, as in, like,
you can introduce a new model that's actually no different.
Yeah.
Oh, but it has different
horsepower.
Yeah. and introduce a new range, because I think the Roadsters, that 150 Roadster, I think it came in some quite unusual colours as well that weren't available in the other models. They are found in the normal colour scheme as well, but I think there's some in almost like a beigey type colour and like a magnolia type. There's some quite very what I'd class as very inoffensive colours is probably the way to describe them. I don't know how you politely say that. You know what I'm trying to say, but it's cars that are sort of
but we all know like what silver is the rare colour, isn't it, Andy?
Oh yeah, silver's the best. Jules, I don't know if you're still on here, but what do you think of silver cars? It'd be interesting what you think of silver cars. But that's the thing is, even with the silver, there's so many different shades of silver. Because So I went to Si. I think you're probably still on. You were still on a minute ago. You said your wife was getting bored though. So I thought his car was Ava silver. He was sure his car was Ava silver, and it turned out to not be Ava silver when he took it in to have all the paint repair done. Because it sort of, I think he'd ordered some paint in to do an Ava silver touch-up paint, and when he put it on, it was darker than the paintwork.
Yeah.
It's like,
but what can happen as well is like the sun just naturally bleeds out the color. So like,
but so what was your silver again? What color did you have again? I can't remember what the exact shade was. It was something I can't remember. I want to call it like it wasn't obviously it's not Ava silver because it wasn't Ava silver, but it made me obviously then question my car color because I was thinking I know it's silver, but I want to do this bumper. So
you're gonna end up with a different shade or something.
Well, that's what I didn't want. So the way to solve the problem is, and I did a little short on that in the week, is if you want to ever know your paint color for the car, guys, there's a sticker in the rear wheel well.
That's
right.
Right.
Obviously, if your car is like mine, over nearly 20 years old, if you want to go and find that sticker, if it's even there, you've done well. If it's there and it's legible, you've done well. But in the case of mine, it wasn't. So I thought, where else can it be? So luckily, I had the blue TT. I've got its service book to hand. Went to the front of the service book, nice big sticker in the front, all the details. So I thought, right, I'll get the silver service book out, and I got the pack of stuff out. And when I looked at it, and it said duplicate service record on the front of it, I thought that's not good stuff. So I opened the front of the book. There's nothing in there either. So I had no way of finding out. So I thought, right, what do I do? So I phoned Audi up, and they were sort of bouncing me around on the phone system.
Yeah, I'm sure they weren't exactly happy as going, a car we sold 20 years ago. Yes, we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, but interestingly, I'd sort of got fed up with waiting on the phone system. So instead, I dropped them a message on the live chat. They've got a live chat on my local dealership, and they said if I drop them an email, my details, they'll come back to me. And I thought, never going to hear from them. Literally an hour later, I got a phone call.
Brilliant.
And the guy said, obviously you've given me the reg and your color is. They gave me a 3-letter code, Y7W, and I was like, I'm expecting it to be 4 digits. And he says, it just has an L in front of it, LY7W. So my color is actually light silver metallic, is what it's known as. Oh, there you go. That's what color of size car was. Another silver.
Yep.
His is lake silver. So there we go. There's at least 3 different ones there. So there's light silver metallic, lake silver, and Ava silver.
And would the colors have changed depending on the country that they were sold to?
I don't think so. I think they were just or
was it on the per year, like, if you was like an 01, 02, 03?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that actually, because the light silver metallic seems to be all cars. I mean, if you look at Dom's Roadster, I think it's an X Reg one or a W Reg one, and my car, they look the same color, so I think they are.
Yeah.
So I think that was available throughout, but some colors have changed. So my coupe is Mauritius blue.
Yes.
And when I bought it, the guy sold it to me as denim blue. He said, "I've got a denim blue Cooper." So okay, that's fine. Yeah, he showed me a picture. Oh, it's blue. Yeah, and then I've told this story before, and then I went to see Chris, and he did my chains, checked my chains, and on the way back, I parked at Cobham Services, and I parked literally miles away from anybody else. I'm so precious of it. Like anyone, I parked my Audi. There couldn't have been a car within 20 spaces anywhere around, right? Literally on its own. Rainy day.
Yeah.
Went off to the user services, came back, and there was another blue 225 coupe.
Deadly.
Parked next to it. Parked right in the space next to it. And I'm like, I know that's all good, you know, but then so of course I took taking some pictures for my.
They were probably taking pictures as well.
Yeah. So then literally, the guy, I didn't get to speak to the guy because he disappeared, and then he came back, and I was like, oh yeah, we were talking about it. And then, but I drove off without thinking to get his Instagram address or anything like any contact details. And I thought, I want to tag him in the pictures. Anyway, he got in touch with me, so we were able to chat. But then he brought the car along to do TT meets TT. And when we had the cars next to each other in the daylight, in the sun, we were like,
are they different?
They're definitely different, these cars. So it's weird. It's almost like mine's almost like a vibrant blue, and his is more like a bronzy blue.
Yeah,
quite a dull. And when it looks like that denim blue was produced to a certain date, and then they stopped making it around 2002, and then they started making the Mauritius blue. So that seems to be why. So that one is a classic case of where it's different. So
yeah, they probably just ran out of like the paint can just ran empty. It was like, right,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll stick some more of this silver bit in it, and then we'll just call it a different color. That's exactly what it would be. So yeah, so Mark, his car is Ava Silver. So it'd be interesting, wouldn't it, to try and get at Springfest, Mark, if we can get my car, your car, and Si's car together, and see if we can see next to each other how different they would be. Mark W then said about it'd be a good idea to set up a WhatsApp group to swap snaps. Yeah, I think we need to probably have a little chat about something like that. I mean, obviously Dom's got his not his Reddit. What's the word I'm looking for? He's got his.
I have a clue.
What's my son always into? I'll tell you exactly what it's called.
Oh, Snapchat or
no. It's begins with D. What's it called? It's good. Someone's going to put it in the chat. What's it called? What's Dom's what all the kids are into? Someone put it up, please. Don't let me die live.
Are you sure it starts with D?
I'm pretty sure it starts with D. I might be making it up. What's Dom's group called? That's like an app that everyone uses. Come on, guys. Sure you can put it up. I'm flicking through frantically trying to find what it is. Let's say everyone uses it, and then there's me showing that I don't use it because I'm just too old-fashioned to use the group half the time. It's going to come up. Not Reddit. Discord! That's it, Discord. I told you it was a D. There you go, Discord. So yeah, so Dom's got a Discord group, and it'd probably be a good idea to maybe put almost like a Reader's Wives version of Cars, I guess, together for it. So,
I must join it because I didn't know about it.
Yeah, okay, I'll send you the link for it because obviously I'm a frequent user of it because I don't know what it's called. So that's my bad because I should really use it more than I do, and I do have used sometimes and put some bits on there. So yeah, so what's that? Find mine that has a bit of a blue tinge to it. Yeah, I think that's what it does. I think it does. It definitely has a bit of a the Ava Silver. And I think that's why Si thought his car was Ava Silver, was because it definitely has that. I don't know how to describe it, but it definitely has like a more of a pop than my Silver for sure.
Yeah, but I say it also kind of, if the car's been garaged or been out in the sun, like it's going to just be different colors anyway.
Yeah, absolutely right. I'm looking forward to getting my car on, getting a mop on my car and actually give it get the polish up. And I have tried to clay bar my car. Have you done any clay bar with the paintwork?
So when I got the car first, it was green. So I had a silver car that was very green.
Right.
It was during COVID, so it'd been up for sale for an entire year.
Yeah.
And your man lived out in the sticks a little bit that he was trying to sell it. So like people would ring him up and like, we live in Dublin. Where off the motorway do you live? And he would explain where he lived. And they were like, no, not interested, just hang up. So he gave up trying to sell the car. And when I rang him, I was like, yeah, I know where you live. Like, I'll come over. And yeah, the car had been basically just sat for a year, not moved outside his house. And everything was green. So all the, like around the front grille, there's kind of a big oval.
There is, yeah.
Like even where it says on Andycharger, like on your background there.
Yeah.
Every insert had moldy green on it. And basically I just took the power wash and blasted everything. Got it fairly clean. And then if you rub your hand on it, you could still feel there was microscopic dirt. So we clay barred the whole car and then like Poppy polished it. And I hate polishing. It is one thing, like a broken engine, something catastrophic, brilliant fun. Yeah, great. I'll go for it. Polishing a car, that has to be the worst thing I can possibly think of doing. So my brother loves polishing. So he came up and he was like, "Oh, I'll do it." And I have the machine polisher. So reluctantly, I was dragged into it. So I had to polish the car or clay bar the car first and then help him polish it. He did an amazing job, but I didn't enjoy it. But so well done to Andrew for that. So yeah,
it's one of those jobs, isn't it? That I think if you like doing the mechanical side of it, you may not like doing the sort of making it look nice, I guess, or making it look, washing it is enough for you. But I'm a bit the same. It's one of those jobs. I've got a very short attention span at all. I can't deal with things for more than sort of like 10, 15 minutes, or I'm on to the next project, And I think that's the problem with polishing is I start on a nice little area and I make it look amazing. And then I'm like, it's a big car. Even though it's a little car, it's a big car to work on. And I just can't be able to carry on with it. So I've probably got a really like shiny one side of the bumper, and then the other side's got dirt still laying off it. So it's
although, and Andy, in saying that, like the TT is a small car. I have a Camaro as well, and like those are massive cars.
Yeah,
like just the bonnet alone is like. By the time you finish that, you could have done the whole TT.
Like that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's I've got a Mondeo estate as well, and literally I can wash both my TTs and my daughter's Fiesta in the time it takes me to even like power wash the Mondeo down. It's just huge, but it's just one of those things we have to put up with, I think.
But at least with the soft top, like you have half a roof, like you don't have to polish out the roof. You just
but you do have to treat the roof though, so because they tend to go quite green, and it's pretty if you keep them outside, they do discolor and they get lots of stuff on them. So I've got a kit to do it. And I must do a video on that before Don does one. I'm sure Don will do one on that. But yeah, on how you can restore your roof. But my roof is not great anyway because it's a second-hand roof.
Okay.
And in his video today, he mentions about the hood and about someone leaving something in the back and putting the hood down and smashing the rear window.
Oh.
And I was wondering, is he talking about me? He might be talking about me because that's exactly what happened to I1 and why I changed the roof. So it might not be me, but it also might be me. So
have you seen the people that have a hard shell roof that you can put onto a convertible for the winter months, and then you take it off, and then you put and then just use a soft top?
Yeah, so there's a guy that's normally in the chat, and I don't think he's on tonight, but Ben of the North, that's normally in our chat, he bought one for his car last winter, and he did that for that reason, so he could have a hard top on for the winter.
Yeah.
And like Don mentioned in his video, they go for extortionate money. They're about 1,500 quid for a roof, you know, just for a hard shell. And so Ben bought one, put it on there, and then he said, but once it's on, it's not like the soft top. You can just take it off. It's bolted in place for the winter.
Yeah.
So he then got frustrated because then he would go out in the winter with a nice sunny day and he'd want to drop the hood.
Yeah.
And of course, the whole reason you have a soft top is so you can do that. So I think Don mentioned in his video today about that, about how the soft top is quite cold in the winter and hard to heat up.
Yeah.
But I don't find that because I mentioned and I did comment on this thing. I don't find it because I put my seats on, lovely and warm seats, toasty seats. I put when you've got that the glass wind deflector up and the windows up, the wind almost like passes over you.
That's
it's quite weird. So you're almost in like a little cocoon. So if you've got the heaters going full blast, it doesn't matter how cold it is outside. It doesn't feel it. But at the same time, you've got the benefit about air conditioning. Is in the summer, the best air conditioning is that little button at the back. You press that button and the roof goes down. That's the best air conditioning.
And you've loads of headroom as well.
Yeah, drive really fast, put loads of sun cream on and you'll be fine. You'll be nice and cool. That's the way I do it. So, Size put he's bought a dual action polisher. So that would be so does that that does all the work for you, does it? Does it even put the polish on?
Yeah, you can do different speeds. Sorry, there's cats. It seems like the Grand Central Station here. There's cats coming.
Can't see your cats. That's all right. They're obviously off. There must be camera shot.
They're way off down the coast there.
Yeah, exactly. I can just see one poking at me on that coconut tray. So there you go. But no, it's polishers are a funny thing because I've only really used one once, and it was many years ago. And I had recently resprayed a bit of a car when I did it back in the day, and I borrowed someone's mop to sort of like, so I didn't want to tea-cut it, or I wanted to cheat and tea-cut it with the mop and take it back nice and smooth. Because the paint was quite soft, it just like dragged through the paint and made a big.
I think it depends on like the mop you have, the speed you go at,
absolutely,
how aggressive you are, and also the polish that you're using. Because like you don't want to use a cutting compound if it doesn't need it.
Yeah, guilty. So there you go. So I know for a fact that I need to do a bit of work, a bit of research. If I'm going to attack my car with a mop, I need to have all my research done. And I think maybe I might do a video on that. That's a good, mopping the TT for beginners, because I am one.
I actually did one on the lights as well. Like, so I sanded it all by hand, but then, just do the finish polish just to get that nice, even look. I got the DA polish right and just went over it. Yeah. And gosh, everything was just perfect afterwards. And then you just spray with your lacquer, whatever you're doing, like.
What did you use to finish? Did you lacquer them, or did you use the sealant?
No, I went off and found like just an ordinary lacquer and just sprayed them.
Yeah, I think that's something I'm going to do, because I've seen quite a few people that do that. They just lacquer the finish, because I did the same thing. I rubbed them all back, and I bought a kit from T-Cut, which was like a headlight restoring kit.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first stage is like a very, very weak T-Cut, isn't it, for plastics? That's what it is. It just rubbed it back. So I did it all that bit with it, and then I put the compound, the sealant on afterwards, and I'm just thinking, it just feels like I've put water on. It doesn't feel like it's done anything.
Yeah. And
I have to say, like a year and a half later, and it does look a little bit like it needs some work. So I think I think I need to redo it. I think I need to redo it, and I need to lacquer them this time with clear lacquer. But I think there must be like some form of ultraviolet sensitive lacquer, let's say. I don't know how you class it, because obviously normal lacquer's not going to be great, I guess, for
no, but like
sunlight.
I figured like if I get 3 or 4 years out of it, I'm happy, because like
exactly right.
The car's 20 years of age, like it's I when I first got the car, I was like realistic. How long am I going to drive this for, and like what's the time limit? Because you're not going to drive it for the next 20 years, so there is a limit. So I said, right, it's 20 years of age. If I get another 2 or 3 years out of it, and then I'd love a Mark II TT, just simply because the splitter goes up and down. Or maybe a slightly more practical car, but
yeah, I mean, I've always when it comes to spoilers that go up and down, I've always had my own Porsche. I've always had my own 911. But I think we have, and I say this in controversial statement, but I think that the TT looks a little bit like a little Porsche anyway. So I've always thought that it looks like a little 911 with a baby version of a 911. So maybe it's my stepping stone, but I think I'm so in love with my TTs now. I think it's the Porsche interest might be waning slightly. I think I would like to have one in the garage just to look at, maybe. And
like they said, because like the TT is 4-wheel drive and all that kind of stuff. So like you have the TT, and then the R8 came out, so it's obviously a copy of the TT, because it's it's a slightly better version. And then like the R8 after that, you have like Bugatti, or not the Lamborghinis. So they're going, basically, I'm driving a really cheap Lamborghini. So
yeah, exactly right. That's how to look at it. We're all driving Lamborghinis. That's how we should be doing it. But yeah,
we get slated now in the comments for saying that.
Yeah. Well, I think someone mentioned, was it Car Wizard that mentioned that the TT looked like an R8, and I think Bryn sort of pulled him into touch over that, saying it looks nothing like. But I think I'm probably going to get told off by Bryn, but I suppose it does look a bit like one, because it looks like it's based along those lines. I can see the similarities, at least. Maybe if it doesn't, I don't think you see an R8 go past and then go, oh, was that a TT? No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It's not that similar. But I can see the shape and the style, and where it's got some influence. And I think it's probably because that TT was so revolutionary when it came out, or evolution. Yes. Well, revolutionary and then evolution to the R8 maybe. That it was such a style icon, and Si mentioned in the chat earlier, it's Bauhaus art, that it spawned a whole new design philosophy, I think, behind things. And that's why people have thought, well, it's not broken, I'll take that and I'll just round this bit off and curve that bit and I'll do this. And then they come up with a new car, and really it's a TT. And we know that. Look at 20 years later, and we're on the Mark III.
Yes.
And it says a lot. Well, I say longer than that, because it would have been, would it have been 98 it came out, and we're now in 2022. So in 24 years, there's actually only been 3 marks of that same car.
Yep.
Because the design is so ageless. If that was an Escort, we'd be on a Mark 5 or 6 now. It's like, but it's not. It's
But have they stopped building the TT at the end of 21, or is there still TTs coming out?
I thought they were still building them because I spoke to an Audi dealer, same Audi dealer, but for a different section, not parts, and this was on new cars. And I was looking to test drive a Mark III, and I changed my mind in the end, and I didn't go through with it because it felt like I wanted to do a video on it. Basically, I wanted to sort of see if I could get like a 24-hour test drive, bring it home, but I think it would. I think they sort of twigged what I was up to, and
did you hand over
the channel
card?
No, I didn't give him a business card. He I think he could spot my blue glasses. That's what it was. He gave it away. So
you're that guy from the internet.
Yeah, you're that guy. Yeah, no.
So question: has your car, or have you ever been called, "Oh, you're driving the hairdresser's car"?
Do you know what? I can tell a story about this because a couple of weeks ago at work, a guy said to me, he said, I got a fun fact for you about the TT. And I was like, okay, what's that? And he said, did you know that was the first car that was ever designed specifically for women? I was like, where have you heard that nonsense? No one has ever said such a thing. So where do these people come up with these statements? That's not even such a thing. I think that even 24 years ago, that would probably have been wrapped up for being an actual inflammatory statement. So I don't know where that even came from. Because I think, if you go and irrelevant of who drives them, guys or girls, because they're not really they're a sexless car, I think. But the majority of people that you see at shows tend to be middle-aged men, on the whole. That's not, strictly true for all of them, because there's some great lady owners out there as well. And there's a really nice car that is driven by, I want to say her Instagram is like LKG Carscapes. And she's got like a black TT, and it's got loads of like pink elements. So she's got pink inserts in the headlights, and a pink gear stick, and pink calipers, and pink little fluffy dot, or not fluffy dots, but caps on her air caps.
Yes.
And it looks really cool. And that's not saying because it's pink, it just looks really quite a cool car. So there's loads of girls out there that are in the scene that are doing stuff as well. And Gina, that runs the TT Addicts, obviously, she's got a cracking car as well. So I don't think it's really.
Oh no, I don't.
So personally, no one has actually been brave enough to come up to me and go, "You're driving an hairdresser's car, mate. You got an hairdresser's car." If you want to come up to me and tell me that, be my guest, and I've got a reply for you. So, and the reply is no.
There 2 days ago, it was like,
really?
Yeah. So like we were like at the kitchen table, like this is the host family that we were cutting silage for, and one of the guys, he's driving a 1.4 Jetta with lowered all the stickers on the back window, that kind of big exhaust pipes. And he looks at me, he's going, "What are you driving?" It's like an Audi TT. I wasn't showing it off or anything. It was like, I'm just driving an Audi TT. Oh, that's the hairdresser's car, isn't it? I was like, that was like a year and a half in, and he's the first person to call me that. So yeah. But they're definitely not the hairdresser's car.
Absolutely not.
At 200 horsepower, they're not going to be like the hairdresser's car, like, "Oh, I'm late for an appointment" kind of thing. Or
I don't think they're a car that you can really say, it's a very stereotypical thing to say it's related to a job anyway, isn't it? It's not like saying, "Oh, it's a lorry driver's car. That's a lorry." It doesn't say that sort of thing. Or, it's whatever it would be, it's like that's a copper's car. That's what the coppers drive, or that's a car that road workers are driving, or whatever they would say. It's like you wouldn't say that about a car. So I they always hark back to like Clarkson being very inflammatory about the car and being not a fan. And so I'd say, firstly, if you say it's a hairdresser's car, I wouldn't take it as an insult, really. Anyway, I wouldn't care. Because I don't give a monkeys. Because I said my wife drives the TTs. She's not a hairdresser, but she cuts my hair.
Yeah.
So technically she is a hairdresser. So I suppose it is. She's got 2. My hairdresser's got 2 TTs. So there you go. So,
and she has a free mechanic that she doesn't have to pay.
Exactly right. She does.
She has a guarantee for life.
She's exactly right. She's very lucky. She doesn't realise the mechanical services she has in her own house, that woman.
Yeah, because obviously, like being a farmer, like we go to like ag meetings and stuff like that, and you go out to a field and you look at grass or cows or whatever it is. And I always bring the TT because like we drive tractors, we drive a Jeep, and just for those events, it's just jump in the TT and go. So it looks really out of place. So you arrive and like there's a designated field to park in, and it's like Land Rover, Jeep, all the way down, and then like a few like Passats and other like very kind of four-seater cars, and then there's me in the TT, and a few farmers have come over. It's like, that's not really a very farmer car. I was like, it's 4-wheel drive, like it's more
exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. That's the thing that always gets me is we had not compared to I guess where you are, but we're in what I class as the middle of nowhere, as we can be in the middle of nowhere in Kent. And if it snows really bad, we can be cut off because we're just in the middle of nowhere, nowhere near the main roads. And we had the Kia Sportage. It was 4-wheel drive.
Yep.
And that was the only reason we had it. And we said, well, we don't really need that because if it snows really bad, then the TTs are 4-wheel drive and we can get about in those. We don't need that anymore. So that's why we got rid of that. So, yeah, so you being a farmer, you're driving a 4-wheel drive.
Yep.
Okay, it's not a standard 4-wheel drive that you'd expect a farmer to drive, but it's a 4-wheel drive. And I bet you it's cheaper than trying to run a Land Rover around.
Oh, yeah. But like I've had a few guys come over to me and say, that's a really nice car. Like, again, farmers that just maybe they were interested in cars, maybe they weren't, but they knew it was a TT straight away.
Yeah.
And they came over and like one guy even wanted to sit in it, like just to say that he sat in a TT, like he was really excited about it.
Really? That's crazy, isn't it? It shows you, doesn't it, all these years later that that they still have that attraction to people.
Yeah, 20 years later, and like all these people are still absolutely loving the TT.
Yeah, yeah. I see in the comments that Peter Loden said it looks more like a Beetle. I guess, yeah, I think they do have that look, and I think, but then again, look at the Porsche. I think was it not built with a Beetle subframe, or there was some sort of, I think you could buy a kit at one point where you could put a Porsche body on a Beetle. Why you would do that, I don't know, a little 1303 Beetle. Some people obviously did, but I've seen a few cars where there's I don't know what subframe or what chassis it goes on, but people have put like a fake TT on it. Have you seen that? And they look a little. It looks a bit deformed.
Is this like a Fiat that they do it to?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah,
or is it a Peugeot? Smaller. Is it the Peugeot convertible or something like that they use? And it literally, it looks awful.
Yeah. It almost looks like it's been squashed into a box. But and I see Mark's also put up that he snapped an injector clip when doing the seals. The only place he could get one quickly was Lamborghini Essex. 71p clip, £12.28 delivery.
That's probably the cheapest thing you're going to get there.
Yeah, absolutely right. Nuts. And then, but 2 and 3 are not as unique as the Mark 1. No, I agree on that. The 2 and 3 are, as we mentioned, that they've all had their longevity, I guess, in design. Because I think the Mark II came around about 2006, 2007, probably about 2007.
2007.
So if you think that the Mark I had a run of 9 years, that's pretty good going. And I think the TT Mark III came out. Well, I'm not even going to guess, but I think it's about 2016. Maybe a bit later.
I can't tell you.
But so obviously the Mark II hasn't had as long a run as the Mark I. So yeah. Yeah, it's an advantage to have hair. Yeah, absolutely right. It is an advantage to have hair. Yeah, exactly. That's what. In fact, the guy at work that said about it being, the first copy design, he hasn't got any hair. So I say you're only jealous because you can't actually drive one yourself anymore, or you can't drive. You won't notice what hairdressers drive because you never go there. So. Right. So I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Yep. I think it's been a good show. And I want to thank all you guys and girls in the chat for tuning in, all your comments. So. Thank you very much, and thank you to Stephen for joining us tonight and his great input. And please do check out his channel. I'm going to put a link to your channel, Stephen, in the video description, so people can go and find you as well. Please do check his stuff out. You normally have a video out on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, usually every Saturday morning it'll be something. Yeah. So it's either going to be a Mark 1 Golf, Corrado, TT. And sometimes there's farming videos thrown in.
Yeah, absolutely. So please go and check him out now. He's got a massive back catalogue of Audi TT stuff. So make sure you give him a like and subscribe. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. And we will see you in 2 weeks for the next one. But I've got a few videos coming in the week. So please do stay tuned to the channel for that. I can't even speak now. It's so late.